Hey guys. Oh, I forgot to do the chat. No. I will fix that right away. Okay. There we go. That's better. Perfect. How do people like the now a starting screen? Oh, I'm not in Discord. I have to disable this too. Where is that? There we go. Good, good, good. Yep. Hey. We're on Reddit. We're looking at Reddit stuff. Oh, I didn't upvote this. Oh, I didn't mean to click it. Didn't mean to click it. Eh. We're starting off the day with Bean Life. It was coolio. I'm glad to hear it. Hello there, lads. Hello. Yeah, yeah. How have people's days been? I hope people haven't been missing the streams too much. Because there's been sort of like one stream a bunch recently. As in, like, not two streams. Hey, Mecca. Yeah. Anyway, let's just like jump straight into this. Bean Life in Half-Life 2. Sorry, Doctor Mr. Bean in Half-Life 2. Bean Life. What is that? That sounds like a thing. I've seen other versions of this.
Welcome to City 17. You have chosen.
Me and it's a visiting family. Ah, okay. Yep. All good. Oh, hey, Vault System. I saw your messages earlier. I look forward to seeing your art. Oh no. Oh my god, it's too perfect. Still gonna watch? Ah, okay, yep, nice.
How dare you?
Holy shit. It was too perfect. That was just way too perfect. Brilliant. Brilliant stuff. That's already in good contending. Oh, right. As per usual, let's check out what free reward. Okay, we got a silver. So anything that we think is just the best submission, we'll give that to at the end. I think this is graphic warning isn't actually graphic warning. Okay. I will take your word for it, Jonas. Yeah. Wonder how they made it. They did some very intense what they call rotoscoping, I'm assuming, which is basically, in my mind, the way I see that is that they're basically just cutting out, but like using AI to like cut out uh, a shape from a video. So they just cut Mr. Bean out of the original videos like really well, and then right, it's easy on After Effects. Yeah, if you use After Effects, it's all AI driven, so it's a lot easier. So that'll be one I added for later in the stream. Oh, nice. Because it's After Effects is the only one with. Yeah, if you want to do this without something like After Effects, you have to do it manually, and that is so much work. I'm assuming most people just use After Effects. I wanted to post a video, but instead posted this stream. Ah. Nice. Also, as we've got some people in here now, and it is the usual time. 1 second. I remember this time. Because I always forget. I frequently forget. We have to thank our, as Charlotte just said, we have to thank our members. It's shout out time. Alright. So, who we got? Show your members. There we go. The page has changed a little bit, so it's a little confusing for me. Alright. Oh, is this... Oh, interesting. It's reshaped the way it does it now. Whatever the case. We're starting at the bottom of this list with Jonas with 20 months of Royal Maximilian. We've got Core Gamer with 17 months of Royal Maximilian. Jake Rowan with 17 months of Royal Maximilian. Oh no, that's wait, Jake's blessed. I think he used to be royal, but no, he's blessed. Damn it, my bad. We've got Josie with 15 months of Royal Maximilian. We've got King of Fools with 11 months of Royal Maximilian. Digits with 10 months of Royal Maximilian. Mark with 7 months of Royal Maximilian. Orangey with 4 months of Royal Maximilian. And then I think because maybe it was a rejoin thing, we've got Tiana and Chris with 21 months of Royal Maximilian. Normally those names are at the very bottom, that's why I'm like a little confused. And of course, one last one here, Rocky with 7 months of Royal Maximilian. Yeah. That's thank you to all the members, all my members. I appreciate it. I just have to only announce the Royal Maximilians because they're the ones who have got that tier, the shout out tier. Yeah. Yeah, I think what happened is a few people didn't renew it straight away. So it got like it's set if it auto renews every time, you stay at the bottom of the screen, but if you like don't let it auto renew and you come back afterwards, it like puts you back to the top of the list. But yeah, so Jonas is now at the very bottom of the list. Or if you buy me a maid outfit, I will face reveal with it on. That's okay, I'm not gonna buy you a maid outfit. That'd be very weird. At your house, like, just get delivered a package. Who's this package from? Oh, from some YouTuber. Maid outfit from some YouTuber. From some 28-year-old YouTuber. Not quite 28 yet. 27-year-old YouTuber. Yeah, that wouldn't go down super well, I don't think. Anyway, alright. Shoutouts done. Now back to the video. Back to the videos. Some old man. Wow. Oof. We've got trying to improve my geography game with more real-world data.
Hello everyone. In my last video, I began creating this little game where you fly around a miniature version of the world, delivering packages to various cities. It was a lot of fun to work on, and I was also amazed by how many people were interested in the project, so I've decided to
subtitles, yes or no,
with it and see where things go. But first, there's a problem. The game runs fine on my computer, but it seems other computers are not so fond of it. This message likes to pop up right at the beginning, saying that the machine hasn't heard anything from the GPU in a while, so it's going to try turning it off and on again. Unsurprisingly, this crashes everything. To try figure it out, I started by setting the resolution of everything extremely low so that it would actually run on my little test device, and then one by one I switched them back to full resolution until that error showed up again. The main culprit turned out to be a compute shade I had written that takes all the country outlines and fills them in with the index of each country. If you've seen the last video, you might remember how that was used to highlight the countries as you fly over them, and also to figure out which country your packages have actually landed in. So I could spend who knows how many hours trying to optimize that code, but since it does run fine for me, I decided to just save the result as a regular image file, which can then simply be loaded in instead of having to actually compute it each time. I then made a few other optimizations here and there before
Yes?
trying
Okay.
it out once again on my test device.
Oh, it's half an hour?
Hopefully this is going to work, and it does seem to be running fairly well. Admittedly, one of my optimizations was
Please
just
don't
turning
crash,
off the
chapter.
clouds, which I guess is kind of
Enhance.
cheating, but I'll need to revisit
City
those later
lights,
because they're really
wind,
slow.
Kepler in the moon.
Now, something
Motions
that's
of
been
the
bothering
sun,
me a bit
stars,
is the quality of the color
atmospheric
map. I do have it
improvements.
on the largest allowed size
Seeing
here,
the
a
sights.
whopping 16,000 pixels across, but considering how
After
much
we
ground
watched
it has
40
to cover,
minutes.
that's not actually that big. The original map I downloaded is made up of 8 tiles, each with a size of about 21,000 square pixels. I'm going to compromise a bit and scale each of them
We'll
down
watch the
to around
enhanced chapter and then
8,000
we'll skip
square
through the
pixels
rest.
instead, which doubles the resolution we had before. This does now take up a fairly hefty 256 megabytes of graphics memory, but I really want that extra detail and crispness. While I'm at it, I think I'll also switch maps from February to September, just so it's a little less snowy. I then also want to take the height map and use it to regenerate the normal map we created last video at this higher resolution. I really love looking at this normal map because it gives such a nice sense of the shape of the terrain with the added bonus of some pretty funky colors. Here's a closer look at the higher resolution natural colors, as well as the heights for this region. But the normal map is really the one that I could stare at for hours.
Like, okay, I get it. I get it.
I learned that it's this incredible looking structure of concentric rings, known rather poetically as the Eye of the Sahara. Now, something I've been wanting to experiment with actually is rendering a tiny piece of the Earth in much greater detail, and this seems like a good excuse to try that. So I'm using the Earth Explorer here to track down the height map tiles for this particular region around the eye.
Pardon me.
The data here has been captured with a resolution of 3 arcseconds, which translates to about 90 meters per pixel, so downloading every height tile would be hundreds of gigabytes of data. Anyway, here's the map I'm going to use. This is an area of about 540 square kilometers, going from black at sea level to white at an elevation of around 900 meters. After some tweaks to the mesh generator to create a flat plane instead of a sphere, here's the result. Like before, the heights have been exaggerated so we can see things more clearly. I think I did maybe about 8-fold vertical exaggeration. Now, I'd like to try flying around a bit, but it turns out my code for that has a hard time coping with the concept of a flat Earth. I've quickly been working on fixing that though, and we can finally now head out across the sands on an expedition to the Eye. I initially assumed it was an impact crater because it reminded me of some of the images I looked at while researching craters for my old Procedural Planets project. But apparently it was formed by natural terrestrial processes. I have no idea how that happens, but I'm glad it did because it looks stunning. I've quickly done one more test, this time in southern Africa. I'm pretty happy with the detail of the height maps, but I haven't yet figured out how to get my hands on equally detailed color maps, because if I disable the interpolation here, you can see just how blocky it is at this extremely zoomed in scale. Still, it's pretty fun to fly around these mountains here. I'd love to be able to have the entire world at this scale, but that would obviously involve dynamically streaming the data in as you're playing, which is not something I feel like tackling at the moment. So I'll leave this experiment here for now, and see if I can remember what we were doing before I got sidetracked with all of this. Okay, so we have these 8 color tiles which now need to be mapped to a sphere. We also have this little function for converting a latitude and longitude to a point on a sphere, so we could just use that to wrap up each of the 8 tiles like so. But if we look at the triangles of the underlying mesh, they look good around the equator, but get really pinched and distorted near to the poles. So last video we made something called a cube sphere, which we then chopped up into 96 separate pieces to help with rendering performance. the idea being that any pieces that are off the screen can quickly be discarded. So we need to match each of those up with the correct portion of the correct color tile. My first attempt at this had some subtle issues, which I was worried might bother the geography boffins out there. So I kept tinkering and eventually came up with this bit of code. Here we begin by setting up our 8 texture tiles, and then once all 96 little mesh pieces have been created, we loop through them and find their center points, each of which then gets converted to a latitude and longitude using this inverse function up here. We can then do some simple maths to figure out which of the tiles each point landed on, which lets us assign the correct texture to each mesh. I'm never quite sure if the words I'm saying make any sense, so here's a little animation that shows essentially what the code is doing. Now, if we just draw these textures the same way as before, it's not going to quite work out. We need to adjust the shader to something like this, so that each mesh displays the correct little portion of its texture. Here are the texture coordinates we just calculated, and if we use those, at last we have the correct result. So we can now fly around our higher resolution world, and I'm not sure if the difference will be all that noticeable on video, but the textures do look significantly crispier when actually playing it, so I'm glad we went to the trouble. It also allowed me to scale the world up a bit without things getting too blurry, so I've made it about 50% bigger than before. I also want to mention a small but very annoying issue that I finally fixed. If you look closely, you can see that the plane appears to be vibrating.
I was just thinking that.
It's been bugging me pretty much since the beginning of the project.
I didn't notice it
eventually cracked
before.
it down to these 2 lines of code for rotating the camera to look at the player, and by just replacing those with a call to this built-in look at function, suddenly everything was silky smooth.
Ah, there we are.
I don't understand what was going
Much
on
nicer.
there, but right now I'm just happy it's fixed. Alright, now something I've been itching to do for a while is make cities light up at night, and so I've started by downloading this nice map of city lights. I'll first try simply drawing this straight onto the terrain, and let's see how that looks. One problem I'm noticing with this is that on steep terrain the lights get stretched out, which looks pretty strange, and overall it's just not quite looking how I want. I think it might fit the style I'm going for better if the lights were all individual points, which means it's time to break out the compute shaders again. So this code here gets run for every light we want to create, and it basically just loops a bunch of times and picks different random points on a sphere. At each of these random points, it looks up the brightness of the corresponding pixel in the light map and keeps track of which point had the highest value, ultimately recording the winner in this city lights buffer over here. Then, using GPU instancing, I'm going to draw little spheres at each of these points with this shader. We start off in here by getting the light that's currently being drawn, and then calculate a sort of time value where 1 means midday and -1 means midnight. We can then set the color based on the light's intensity, and make it only appear when our time value is below a certain threshold. Finally, there's just some stuff for positioning the mesh vertices, and sending that data along to eventually be rendered over here. So let's try this out. Currently it's daytime, so no lights are visible, but if we rotate the sunlight over here, we should see some city lights starting to appear. We can play around with the size of these a bit. I think they're too big at the moment, so I'll scale them down a little. Something like that maybe. And then all of them are currently bright white, so I'm going to tweak the dim color over here to something more orangish red. I think that looks okay. What doesn't look so good though is this harsh boundary where the lights switch from on to off. But that should be easy to fix. I'll just go back to the compute shader where we were creating the lights and give each of them a random value, which will affect the time that they turn on. For completeness sake, by the way, here's the code I'm using for generating all these pseudo-random numbers. Anyway, let's then hop back over to the shader we're using to draw the lights, and in here we can just add in that random value to give some variation to when the lights turn on. Let's go test that quickly. So here we still have our hash line like before, but if we increase the amount of time variation, we should see that getting broken up with a bit of randomness, which I think looks a lot better.
Yeah.
I've gone and made a few small tweaks and added a bloom effect, which basically just takes the brightest parts of the image, blurs it, and then adds it back on top of the original image to give us this nice glowy effect. I followed this really nice tutorial to implement that, if you're interested in the details. Anyway, I think I'll fly around a bit now and enjoy the lights while I try to figure out what I want to work on next.
Yeah, it's neat. Alright, from here, we won't worry about terrain mesh optimization. We'll see what the see what his wind experiment is.
Just a second. And here's what that looks like. I find it really interesting how clearly defined the shapes of the continents are. I guess it does make sense that the wind would experience a lot more friction over the land and slow down, but it's very dramatic. Let's go back to the shader quickly, and maybe we could try drawing the direction of the wind in red and green like this. That's pretty cool looking, I think, but what I'd really like to do is spawn in some particles and have them actually move around the globe based on this vector field.
Yeah, if you want to watch the
Let's
video in full, you can watch it outside of this.
See what happens.
I'm really curious as to see what he...
Well,
there we
there's
go.
a pleasant surprise. This actually seems to be working. There's even a cyclone over here, and it's rotating counterclockwise, which I had to look up is what they're supposed to do in the Northern Hemisphere. So that's a nice confirmation that I didn't get anything back to front in the velocity calculations at least. And if we go over to the Southern Hemisphere, here we can see the cyclones twisting around in the opposite direction. It's surprisingly entertaining to just watch these points flowing around. It would be nice to see the weather actually evolving over time though, and I guess I could blend between data from different days to do that. I'd also love to try do some kind of fluid simulation to generate believable weather patterns, but those are challenges for some other time. Right now, I'm not even sure how I want to actually implement this into the game. I've played around a bit with the old cloud system, getting them to move about based on the wind, and then perhaps the player's speed could be affected by the winds as well. The trouble is just
no, not a
that
4-hour
I'm really
stream.
happy with how this is looking, and I'm struggling at the moment to
It's only a 3-hour stream, actually.
the moon. So I'll grab a color map of the moon, and while we're at it, I guess we might as well grab this height map as well, because we can use the same code from last video to generate a normal map from it. Have I mentioned I love looking at normal maps? Only the world space ones though. There are some good technical reasons for preferring tangent space maps, but then you don't get the pretty colors, which are much more.
Oh, I suppose this is, yeah, this is for,
Let's now get this into
so
orbit.
much here.
So after referring to this little diagram, I've written some code that starts off by calculating the moon's orbital plane, and then just makes it move around in a circle on that plane. Lastly, it tilts the moon a tiny bit and makes it spin on its axis in synchrony with its orbit, so that the same side of the moon is always facing the Earth. Let's see how that looks. So because the moon's orbiting at this angle, when looking at it from the Earth, we'll sometimes be able to see a bit more of the top and sometimes a bit more of the bottom, and that gives the appearance that the moon is rocking back and forth.
Yeah.
But it should also appear to rock from side to side and change size over time, because the moon's orbit is actually slightly elliptical.
Yeah. Oh, there's a fair
This is
bit,
much
and it's
more
a shorter
detailed than is
stream,
necessary for
but
the
yeah.
game, but
I'm not
in
worried
any
too much
particular rush, and it sounds like
about the
fun,
length.
so let's do it anyway. In one of my old videos, I played around with some simple orbital simulations, and this here was a simulation using Newton's equation of gravity. What's nice about this approach is that we can simulate the interactions of as many bodies as we want, but on the other hand, it can be a bit finicky. And also, if you want to know the position of a body at a certain moment in time, you have to run the whole simulation.
The world's
up until that
flat.
time to find it out.
Everyone knows
So
that.
today, I'd like to try a different approach. Say we have one big stationary body and a second little body that orbits the first. Technically, they'd both be orbiting their shared center of mass, but I'm going to ignore that for today. Now, one way to define the shape of the orbit is with two values called the periapsis, which is this distance of closest approach, and the apoapsis, which is the distance of the furthest point in the orbit. Those two bits of information together define an ellipse, and I've written a bit of code here to visualize that.
So I'm just wondering how this is
I'd say it's
adding to
looking
the
pretty
game.
good, so let's apply it to the moon.
Is it?
At its closest, the moon is about 360,000 kilometers from the Earth, and at its furthest, around 405,000 kilometers. So I'll quickly change the position calculation here to use our fancy new orbit code. Orbiting now, we can see from the red line how the slight eccentricity of the orbit causes the moon's rotation around its axis to sometimes lag behind or shoot ahead of its orbit around the Earth. So if we look at the moon from the Earth again, we should see it not only looks like it's wobbling up and down, but also now from side to side. And of course, it appears to grow and shrink over time as well. This is far from super accurate what I've done, by the way. There are many details to take into account, but I did learn some new things, so I'd say it was worthwhile. Now, I thought I'd quickly set up the Earth's orbit around the Sun as well, and here we can see the Earth is currently tilted away from the Sun, at least in the northern hemisphere where our observer currently is. So if I change the time of day here, we can see the Sun appears pretty low in the sky. Fast forwarding about half a year though, we can see the Earth is tilted towards the Sun, which now appears much higher in the sky at the same time of day. Let's take a closer look at this apparent motion of the Sun, and if we actually draw a trail behind it as we're stepping through the year in one-day increments, we can see how that traces out this famous sort of figure 8, known as an analemma in the sky. I was curious about this one lobe being so much smaller than the other, and I learned that that's due to Earth's orbit also being slightly elliptical. So if I switch over here to a simple circular orbit instead, we can see how the Sun still traces out the same basic shape, but the lobes have now been brought into balance. Here I've just brought the tilt of the Earth down to 0 as well, and we can see how the Sun now appears at the same spot in the sky every day. I thought that was quite fun to play with. Now that we have the Sun, let's add in the rest of the stars. My first thought was to just map a giant texture like this one over the sky, but it didn't fit in very well. I then came across this nice compilation of star data, and I wrote a little script to load that in. There's over 100,000 entries in this thing, but one of the attributes is the star's apparent magnitude, so we can select only the ones that are bright enough to be visible with the naked eye. The code then goes on to just calculate the star's positions and draws them as little spheres, which I'll need to optimize later. So over here we have about 9,000 stars, which I've given some test colors and sizes based on their brightness. This one here looks like the brightest of them all, which is Sirius. I'm incredibly bad at stars, recognizing constellations and all that stuff, so I'd need to consult a star chart to know if I've actually loaded these in correctly, but I'll just hope for the time being. One quick thing I could maybe check though is just if the North Star is actually in the north. So I think it should be right about here, and it is, so that's reassuring at least.
Where's Orion's belt?
Alright, so I'll bring the moon, sun and stars into the game soon.
It's the one I always look for.
I first want to finish up a rewrite I've been doing of my old atmosphere shader. It's still very similar to the original, so have a look at that video if you're interested in the details, but there's some nice little improvements and optimizations. For example, the original version did all the expensive ray matching calculations for every pixel on the screen, but this is now split up into two much cheaper steps. Firstly, since colors in the sky mostly change quite gradually, the sky can actually be rendered at a pretty tiny size and just scaled up. The biggest exception is the actual disk of the sun, so
coding programming,
out and just drawn separately on top.
No, that's nice of them. Yeah.
The second step is for rendering the atmosphere over the terrain, which is trickier because the result depends on the depth of the terrain. The main trouble is that nearby pixels can have very different depth values, for example around the edges of mountains, so we'd get some unappealing artifacts there if we tried the same approach as with the sky. From this paper though, I learnt about a nice technique to get around that. What we can do is render the atmosphere again, but instead of just storing the end result like with the sky texture, we'll take two-dimensional slices of what the result looks like at different depths, and store that in a three-dimensional texture. Well, actually we need two three-dimensional textures because the result has two parts. There's the light from the sun that reaches us after scattering through the atmosphere, which is what we're looking at on the left here, but then there's also something called transmittance, which tells us how much of the light that's bounced off the terrain in the direction of the camera is actually going to reach the camera, because some of it will get scattered away as it travels through the atmosphere. Thankfully, these textures can be really tiny and still give good results, otherwise this obviously wouldn't be a very good optimization at all. Here's the code, by the way, where this is actually applied.
Did I fall
so
asleep?
we first remap the terrain depth to a value between 0 and 1, and then that gets used to sample from the correct slice of the 3D textures.
Didn't feel like I did.
Or more precisely, it will be used to blend between the two closest slices to smooth things out a bit. Finally, over here, it's just applied to the terrain color. So let's quickly see what this all looks like. Here we have just the light from the atmosphere
For like
by
5
itself.
seconds? I didn't even
Then here are
know.
the transmittance
I
values,
didn't even
and
notice.
lastly the original color from the terrain.
Ugh.
The terrain's looking a bit flat at the moment, so let's now bring all the layers together, and we get this, which has a much better sense of depth. I
Mubby.
think. Okay, let's finally have a look at what all this stuff we've been adding actually looks like in the game.
I should eat my breakfast. That'll probably help. Yeah, I was at a party party. I was at a wedding last night.
So hopefully you've been able to see the stars twinkling in the background,
I'm a
and
little
we should see those now slowly
drowsy
fading out as the sun begins
today.
to rise.
Oh damn.
I'll quickly veer off to the side here because I want to show how we can see the shadow that the Earth casts on the atmosphere.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
doesn't perfectly line up with the terrain, unfortunately, because for annoying performance reasons, the Earth is treated as a perfect sphere in the atmosphere marching loop.
All good.
Anyway, as we head out over the ocean, you might notice I've added in some little wavy undulations onto the sphere here, just to try break up the perfect smoothness of the horizon, which I thought looked a bit strange on this miniature planet. This is done in the vertex shader just by offsetting the heights of the vertices a little bit based on some layers of simplex noise. As you can see, it's extremely crude. I would like to make it more lifelike, and I've actually already downloaded and processed some wave direction
Oh my
data,
god.
but I still need to figure out what exactly I'm going to do with that. In the meantime, I have made some other small improvements to the water. For example,
I didn't
most
get
lakes appear
married.
pretty much completely black on the color map I'm
I
using.
said someone else was
So
winning.
I've tried to find alternative images of some of the larger lakes and just fit them in as best I can. Let's hop back into our plane and maybe go pay those lakes a visit. Perhaps we can even drop off some packages there, since that's still the only thing you can actually do in the game. I'm once again very guilty of neglecting the gameplay and just getting lost in all the little details. Still, some of you expressed interest last time.
Yeah, it was
in
good. It was
simply being
nice.
able to
It was a
fly
nice
about
night.
and see the sights, which is why
Yeah.
I've tried to put at least some effort into optimization this episode. You'll probably still need a fairly powerful computer to run it, but I'll be making it freely available to download for anyone who'd like to give it a try. I'll also soon be making the source code available to everyone, in case some of you are interested in taking a closer look at that, or even adding your own features to it.
I would.
Or
I would
fixing
be.
my bugs, of which I'm sure there are many. I've had a lot of fun building this so far, and even if this last episode was more about little tweaks and improvements than new exciting things, I hope it's still been interesting to follow the process. So thank you as always for watching, and until next time, cheers.
We did end up watching most of this video. Oh. Anyway, yeah. I love that stuff. I love looking at that stuff. It really makes me want to go back, go and do some actual, game development. Because I've been neglecting that a bit recently. I haven't done any actual game development stuff in a little while now. It's probably been a couple months, at least. Now, what do we have here? Cat couple having romantic movie night. Aww. This is probably gonna get me copyright claimed. It's usually the cat videos that do it. Make Portal Unity once again. The once again edition. I wanna work on. I like programming though. Like working on Hammer and working on maps is fun and all, but oh my god. I actually like one of the things I really like doing is getting into the like the programming stuff. Yeah, worth it. It's me worth it, yeah, to get copyright claim. Oh, something scary happened on the screen. Aww. What about 3D modeling? I struggle with 3D modeling. I'm terrible at it. I say terrible. I'm not like the worst, but I'm pretty like baby tier in my abilities. Oh my god, I still can't say the word abilities without thinking abilities nuts. Ha, got it. Rick and Josh went top life 1. Polymodeling or sculpting? Usually I'm working in like Blender or whatever, and so I'm usually doing like I'm gonna say polymodeling, but right, it's like primitive shape manipulation mostly.
Drake? What? Where's... Goes right there. See, I drew it with...
HEV.
You were supposed to... Dude, I'm gonna. Oh, really? Yes. So go get the... Yeah, I will. No! Oh, stop!
Oh my god. The fucking putting noises over their faces, over their mouths in some of those bits. It's so silly. Alright, we got Peekaboo. Palace Cat discovers camera. So what's that? These cats are so, like, strangely proportioned. Get a hold of tablet / Cintiq. I recommend trying out digital sculpting. I have done digital sculpting on some other sculpting program, and it is really interesting. It's good for making sort of like natural looking things. It's interesting for making like the thing I made the bust like from here up of like a monster thing. But at least I tried. I seem to remember trying. But I wasn't super good at sculpting either. Jump scare. Yeah, no, definitely. I think sculpting is the way for people who aren't super like digitally oriented, like people who are more art oriented. Definitely sculpting programs are much better. But for people who are super or it depends on what you're modeling, I would say. If you're modeling like a natural thing, sculpting systems are way better. If you're modeling something like something inanimate, it's probably better to do it with the standard poly modeling. But I will say, if you're going for like a specific visual style, especially if you're going for like a claymation kind of style, if you're going for something that looks a little bit more like Wallace and Gromity or something, doing it all sculpted would make that look way more authentic. This is the video, not actually graphic. Wait, which one? This one? Vicious? Oh, I see what you wrote Vicious. Vicious Maine Coon. Oops, I opened it twice. Catfight warning. Oh, yeah, that's why it says warning graphic content. Yeah. He's fighting his toughest opponent yet. Oh god. Fighting his toughest opponent. His own reflection. Now, we've got this guy. What is this video? See if they can act.
How good are porn stars at acting? Well, I found out by hiring a production team, writing a movie script, and only casting actors that were other types of actors.
But you haven't had props like that before.
And I have to say that my opinion on their acting ability has somewhat changed.
Did we get that?
More furries. No,
There is an overarching
porn
opinion
stars.
that acting in adult films isn't particularly good.
Come on, Mr. Rock.
Ring, ring, ring.
The cameraman literally just said ring, ring. But I want to prove that when they actually try, they are fantastic.
Wait, yeah, was it supposed to be the doorbell ringing? What the fuck? Yeah, I think it's less about the actresses and actors' abilities to act, more about this fucking script they're given.
Actors. How am I gonna do this? Well, I thought that I would write, direct, and star in my own short film where all the actors are professional porn stars. To prove once and for all that they are true thespians. This is an idea I got from friend of the channel, Eric Tabak, so go check him out. And I have to say, I didn't really know where I was going to start. So I set about Googling adult actors whilst at work.
This is genuine work. I pride myself on my little black book. Hey, if you need a private investigator, a private jet, or to spend some time with nudists, I'm your guy. I don't know any adult actors, personally. So I've got a three-pronged approach.
Personally, he
One
says.
is to reach out to their agents. 2 is to put a casting call out. Number 3, good old trusty Instagram and get you guys to help me out. So again, like every video, let's start at square one.
I might have slightly overestimated my ability to cast adult actors, because my first 2 leads were falling on deaf ears. I did have some success when I found the name of a few production companies.
Found a website for a company called upforit.com. Is a recruitment
You want me to skip?
company for amateur actors.
But after weeks of emails, they decided that I wasn't for them. So once again, I had to rely on you legends. I think some of you may have slightly misunderstood the definition of an adult actor.
I'm getting a lot of you who think when I mean adult acting, I mean actors who are adults.
But I finally got a lead.
Right. So, I've got the details of somebody who's messaged me who works in the industry. And she's given me her number and asked me to call her. Her mobile phone number. In the middle of her mobile
Proceed
phone
if you
number is 6969.
dare.
I don't know whether that was on purpose, but it's absolutely fantastic.
Alright.
Hello.
Hi Lola, it's Max.
Hello, how you doing?
It always fascinated me that the tropes of porn is always like, oh, the plumber's here to fix the pipes. It's so clunky. And I was thinking, I'm sure the people who work in the porn industry are actually very good actors themselves, but often there isn't that opportunity for them to showcase that talent. Do you do porn full
I
time?
made a poll. Where did it
Yeah,
go?
I do porn, I do OnlyFans. So I used to be big on the whole
There it is.
spanking scene.
Well, on this occasion, it would genuinely just be acting. Are you free next week?
Yeah. Where's my diary? I don't know where my diary's downstairs because I'm the plumber and the electrician get to go.
After waiting for Lola to deal with her plumber downstairs, steady, we hammered out the details and the dates that we could shoot. And with that, I'd signed one of the UK's top
It's 12 minutes.
performers to bring my
But I probably won't watch
masterpieces
the
to
whole
life.
thing.
Okay, not a problem. You take care.
Even if I do watch
Have a
it, I
great
won't watch the whole
evening.
thing.
She was lovely. She was so nice.
We were then on a roll, and a few calls later, I had 4 of the finest performers booked for my very own film. I then realised I actually need to write the movies. And I say movies because I wanted movies that could showcase each actor's talents individually. So after a bit of tippy-tappying, the films were done, and it was the day of the shoot.
It's the day of the big shoot.
It's about proving
I
whether or
want this
not
to be a
they can actually
professional
act.
promotion.
It's nothing to do with the.
Highest in film.
It's nothing to do with the
Once we've got that, we address the set, and then the talent arrives. This could go anyway, literally anyway at all.
The arrival of my star performers was getting ever closer, so myself and the crew got to work setting the scenes.
Yeah, it's not actually about. It's not actually about you know, like porn. It's about like whether they can act or not. How about, to please everyone, I'll just skip ahead to find out the conclusion. No, they're making a movie. They're making a regular movie, but they're casting porn stars.
What are you doing in here? You know the rule. If you have packages, you have to cut up the cardboard. Alright. Okay? So could you do that, please? Thank you. And don't use my knife, I'll get some scissors. Want a cup of tea?
What about the backstory?
What are you saying?
We're not your biological parents.
So what do you mean? What, I'm adopted?
Yes, you are adopted, but you are always going to be my son and his son too. We are your parents.
You are our son and we love you. And we don't have a lot, but what is ours is yours.
It doesn't matter. You'll always be my parent. I don't care what a piece of paper is going to say. You're always going to be my mum and dad.
I think it is best that I do give you this. In this envelope, it's got the details of your mum and dad's real name and how to contact them.
I don't care what this says. I'll always love you. You'll always be my parents.
You don't know how long I've wanted to hear that from you.
These are my biological parents.
Well, yeah, but...
Bill and Melinda Gates. I mean, yeah, they're fairly convincing. Like, they're not bad.
Stephanie, wait!
John,
Steph,
what are you doing here?
don't go. Please, please stay with me.
John, it's too late. I've got the job. I'm starting tomorrow.
Well, I'm telling you can't do it. I cannot live a day without you.
John.
Look, I know I've been distanced ever since my best friend died of that rare blood disease that could have only been cured by that drug that the evil pharmaceutical company that your dad owns withheld from the public. But you're
Oh
not
my
like
God.
him, Steph. Come back to work with me at the children's home. Back where we belong.
My dad, he literally disowned me.
It doesn't matter. We can start our own family. Stephanie, GlaxoSmithKline, will you marry me?
Oh my God. John, yes, of course I will.
Come on. So we're gonna double barrel our names?
What? To GlaxoSmithKline Smith?
Sounds good. Fantastic actors, fantastic to work with.
Well,
Next stop, the Oscars.
Yeah, no, they were good. They were actually, the ones we saw were actually good actors. Which is why, exactly what I thought. It's like, the reason that the porn acting is so bad is because they wrote such terrible scripts. Oh, right, I should get rid of this. Yeah. They were given such terrible scripts that, of course, it's bad. But yeah, that was good. That was good. Oh, is that gonna pop up? Who knows? Stop! What is this? I could have been a movie if I could. Yeah, yeah. Like, it's enough of that. That's, yeah. Ringtone. That'd be a great ringtone. Yeah. No, those actresses and actors, they did a really good job. They like, yeah. Oh, Justin, what's this? Justin
We
Trudeau.
didn't want to use the Emergencies Act. It's never something to turn to without serious consideration. But after weeks of dangerous and unlawful activities, after evidence of increased ideologically motivated violent extremism activity, we now have a choice to make as a society. We can choose to keep reliving these scenes that tear at the values that bind us as Canadians.
Proud to hear you still exist.
Yeah, good time. So are we.
Was I trying to say something political? I wasn't paying much attention. All I'll say is that I did hear the reason for the initiating of that whatever it was, I forget what it's called. The reason was there were those shots there were some examples of like people happily just, you know, calmly protesting, but there were actually people doing some pretty dodgy shit. That's what I'd heard. It was maybe funny. I mean, I don't know enough about the situation to make a proper statement on it, but yeah. I just heard that there was some of the people protesting were not protesting peacefully. So I know he like turned on that system, but then he like as soon as it was over, he turned it right back off again. So that's good. That's good. Anyway, Persona Fortress. Oh my god. Oh my god. I've never played Persona. So I can't speak to the accuracy of this, but... guess that's it. I don't know enough about Persona to know if that's like how accurate that is, but yeah, that was good. Oh my god, Hunt Down the Freeman 5 years later. Holy shit.
I should probably stay out of trouble.
Welcome to a Hunt Down the Freeman video, the 4th year in a row. And with that, welcome to Hunt Down the Freeman, the definitive edition, because, yes, it is being remastered. Kind of. There is visible improvement. Of course, not the type of improvement that you would expect from a definitive edition, but just like the definitive edition of GTA was a disappointment, this one is also not great. Yet, it may be coming to some point where you can say, well, this really is a redux. You guys clearly want me to keep up with it, so here we are. 4 years after the release of this shit show, there are actual news. Last year I told you that there's actual development taking place behind the scenes, and today we can have a quick look at the things that changed. Just quickly, the drama angle of the shit show here. Birkin, the guy who was responsible for Hunt Down the Freeman, of course went silent after the game launched. He later got a job at Activision, working on Call of Duty Mobile, and now, according to LinkedIn, he is working for PlayStation. Good luck with that. I must
Makes
say,
me so mad, I don't know why.
Mobile games, well, there seems to be something that really fits his modus operandi. Usually I'm not really the drama guy, but what is kind of funny, he apparently lost control over the official Twitter account, the developer Discord, and the actual Steam page, as it has been taken over by, let's say, rogue developers. Volunteers and former staff that, of course, are not being paid for their work. That is why in new versions of Hunt Down the Freeman, you will find this graffiti. In case you own Hunt Down the Freeman, accessing the secret developer build is easy. The password is in the video description, go check it out. Even though the Steam page has been taken over, the people working on it don't get the money. That money still flows to Birkin, so I can't really recommend buying Hunt Down the Freeman, even if it gets better. Nonetheless, it is interesting to see what they have been up to. These guys have been busy, from redesigning levels to rewriting alternative scripts. Some of you may be wondering why I keep using the GTA Vice City theme in these videos. Well, the rewritten script actually revolves around you hunting down Mitchell. You see, Mitchell changed his name to Big Mitch Baker and is now the head of a biker gang, the Chromium Bikers, and you have to hunt him down in Combine-infested Vice City.
Wait, really?
Where's Baker? I'm looking for Big Mitch Baker.
Of course, that's complete bullshit, but
I was gonna say.
You know, why not? A good example of their progress is the opening. Of course, the cutscenes are still there, but the level itself changed a lot. Originally, you would be chasing a fireman for a medipack. Then, in an upgraded version that I showed you last year, a helicopter crashes through the ceiling, killing the fireman, and you suddenly turn into General Grievous. And nowadays, your stuff has been dropped off by the G-Man in a trash bag, and the entire hospital looks a lot less bright. You fight your way through a horde of zombies until you crash down an elevator shaft, this making your guns disappear. The adjacent slow-paced chase scene has been updated for an air duct, and the following fight in downtown Albuquerque has also been updated slightly. Gone are the Half-Life 1 era tents with the painted-on entrance, and also gone are the few trenches. For all the amazing things we lost, we did gain the amazing graffiti over here. And with all the things that have changed so much, it is of course good to know that some things are still the same. Like the Cinema 4D test texture elevator and the sometimes bare-bones level architecture. And of course the City 17 levels taken from Half-Life 2 are still a rather so-so copy. Overall, the game is still the same, largely. Some of the long, tedious levels have been shortened. Some are still really broken and are waiting for an update. Overall, the game crashes less often. The last playthrough I had a year ago, well, I had to restart several times. The stuff that is currently in development indeed looks somewhat promising, like the remade Black Mesa intro chapter. This looks pretty fine. Way better than the original. And some of my criticism that I had over the years has really been taken to heart. They all got pupils now. That's a step up. But now the entire crew is lazy-eyed, but I guess that's still a step upwards from blind people.
Dirtbag! You are an embarrassment to my beloved Corps!
I take a lazy-eyed platoon of Marines over a blind one any days. Not to knock down blind people, I just don't think they would be the most valuable sharpshooters. You know, there are some levels that I didn't mention in the original video about Hunt Down the Freeman, because they actually do work as intended, so I would find it a bit petty to complain about it when the rest is actually way more broken. Like this level here, where you have to walk around the mines. If you played the original Half-Life, then you will remember this scene, of which this Hunt Down the Freeman level is actually a pretty lazy rip-off. In the original Half-Life, it was somewhat challenging to not trip the mines, but in Hunt Down the Freeman you just follow the cables and it's just, well, follow the line. Very easy task, not a thrill. And I really hope that for the remake they make it more than just a trip to the box.
Like how he just runs straight through it.
Overall,
I suppose
Hunt Down
you
the
probably
Freeman
turned
is
them
still
off, but that's
something that I
probably
would
what's
not
happened.
buy. I really can't recommend it, outside of the money not going to the actual developers. It is still too broken, whether it be the normal version or the developer beta. But honestly, if these guys keep it up, someday it might be not horrible, and may become something that is interesting for more than just its comedic value. But right now, even the updated version is still very much Hunt Down the Freeman,
Episode 3
where
we
the
never
truck
got.
you are supposed to protect from ambushes conveniently stops for every ambush to occur before pushing you around, almost knocking you down a bridge, making you wonder, why are you protecting these assholes in the first place? Oh, and by the way, comedic value, I asked them, they are still keeping these celebrity voices, so President Keemstar and Colonel Q are still there and will remain in the game.
Well, well, look who we got here, boys. A Black Ops and a Marine. Hoorah. Let me introduce myself, son. I'm Colonel Q, but you can call me sir.
They should have gotten John Delancey for Q. That would have been cool. So, maybe see you next year. That all depends on whether the hobby developers stick to it or not. It would really be the redemption story of the decade. Forget about No Man's Sky. Because Hunt Down the Freeman, the remastered edition, that's something we all deserve. I hope you enjoyed this quick look at Hunt Down the Freeman 4 years after the launch. All jokes aside, best of luck to the developers. These guys don't have a budget, and they are working on something that is generally perceived as a really broken product. Absolutely, I wish them all the best. I'm hoping that they can actually succeed in bringing this to a state where Hunt Down the Freeman is more than just a joke. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, you know what I would like you to do. Give the video a like.
Yeah, interesting. Do I think that the developers should just honestly move on and develop something else? Yes. If they wish to continue working on it, that's their prerogative. Mitchell's hair looks weird. It does. It looks very strange. I think his skin in particular looks like real strange compared to everyone else's. Yes, yes, and yes. Yeah. PowerPoint mistakes. Oh.
That there's some things I hate about PowerPoint, and I figure it's kind of my duty to point them out. So here we go. Here's common PowerPoint mistakes. Number one, people tend to put every word they are going to say on their PowerPoint slides. Although this eliminates the need to memorize your talk, ultimately this makes your slides crowded, wordy, and boring. You will lose your audience's attention before you even reach the bottom of your first slide. Please don't do that anymore, please. Number two,
Very
most
true.
common. Many people do not run spell cheek. Big mistake. Nothing makes you look stupider than spelling errors. If it's got a red line under it, recheck the spelling. And then finally, I hate this. Avoid excessive bullet pointing, only bullet key points. Too many bullet points, and your key messages will not stand out. Hence the bullet point.
Hunt down the refund.
Bad color schemes, not good. Clashing background and font colors can lead to distraction, confusion, headache, nausea, vomiting, and loss of bladder control. I can't stay on that one too long. Here's something I've noticed. The number of PowerPoint slides you have in your talk, the less useful your talk actually is. Unfortunately, my presentation is right there. I've also noticed this. People love to pack data into their presentations. They shove more and more data thinking it's better, but it's not. The more data you have, the harder it is to read your slide, and the effectiveness plummets. Now you can improve the effectiveness by adding some shading and some 3D effects and then some second order and third order effects, and then, I know, let's add some labels. That'll help a lot. And that's pretty much every marketing slide I've ever seen right there. Now, I'm
Yeah, it's
into
like paper mache.
animation. People become animators in PowerPoint. You can have things flying all over the place, and that can be good. If you're a visual learner, that will improve the effectiveness of your performance. But if you're easily distracted, more animations, and people have no idea what you're talking about. They're just, wow, that is cool, wow. And there's regions here, by the way. There's the simple but effective region. There's the active but confusing, the effective but boring, the active but ineffective, the dull but static region, the busy but useless, the ADD only region, the useful but amusing, the stupid but confusing, the dull triangle, the hyper triangle, the sleepy square, the dizzying pentagon, and everything else I just call pointless motion. That slide right there took me an hour and a half to make, right there. PowerPoint can just suck the life out of you. It's amazing. I've also come up with this. It's a kind of a little science I've invented called font analysis. Basically, the font you choose says something about who you are as a person.
Oh, he's starting
There's
health
a huge
class.
list of
I
fonts.
was gonna
You
say
choose one,
this is
and
a
that
good.
says
This is
something
actually
about
probably
you. So be
good to
careful
show
the font you choose.
students who are new
For
to
example,
PowerPoint.
if you choose Courier New, it happens to be my
New
favorite.
to, like,
you're probably
presenting.
organized and structured. If you choose Matisse, it means you're artistic. And if you choose Times New Roman, it means you're lazy, apathetic, and unimaginative, and you always use the default.
Times New Roman isn't default anymore.
A lot of Times New Roman people, welcome. We have some more. If you use freehand script, you're a horrible speller, so you try to hide it with a hard-to-read font. Very smart. If you use Gothic, it means you're very pale and you wear black. And if you choose Wingding, it means you're a nerd and you have no life. In fact, if you know what those symbols mean, you will never have a date, trust me. Don't bother.
I think in most Windows, at least most most software I've used recently, poor Toby Fox. Yeah, he's never gonna have a date. He uses Wingdings. Most defaults now are Calibri. Calibri is a very common default for like text editors and things like PowerPoint. Arial was a default for a while. Yeah, Calibri. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I can't think of any other defaults. Yeah, I also don't like it very much, but it's the standard now for default text stuff in most text editors. Anyway, do you know what's interesting about Fraser Bra? Okay, where I live. Founder of Mitsubishi, the car company, grew up here. Interesting. Wait, Mitsushiba. Just going into. Is that true? Wait, is Mitsushiba a different company than Mitsubishi? Mitsubishi? Mitsubishi is like a Korean or a Japanese car brand. Wait, which is it actually? Mitsubishi. Japanese multinational automotive manufacturer. I was gonna say, it can't be Mitsubishi. It's just a Japanese guy growing up in Scotland, founds a company in Japan. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some car company, you know, That wouldn't be entirely surprising. Yeah. Save this towards the end of the stream. Okay. I'll open it, but I won't go to it. I shall save it. How Pixar's movement animation became... ... So realistic. Oh.
This is a shot from Pixar's latest movie,
I might get copyright
Soul.
claimed for this.
Even though it's animated, everything about how the
Just 'cause
fingers float
Insider-
from one key to another, to the small details like tendons moving in the hand, feels just as real as the reference footage that inspired it. While Pixar has used reference footage since the beginning, it could not have pulled off a scene with movement this nuanced and realistic back in 1995 for Toy
No.
Story. And it took years of technological breakthroughs. So how did Pixar get here? First off, they have an army of animators and riggers. We talked to 7 who worked on Soul to see how far Pixar has come. Let's start over 26 years ago, with the technology built for Toy Story. Getting a given character to move starts in Pixar's rigging and modeling department.
Whenever you're thinking of a character model before it's rigged, it's in a completely neutral pose. There's no expression on the face. The arms and legs are all straight. And so the controls that we put in rigging lets parts of the body move like you would pose like a doll or a puppet.
To get a clearer idea of the basics, let's start with this character model of Woody. The rigging department will add the rig, which is essentially an inner skeleton. Throughout this rig, you can see all these controls called animated variables, or AVARs, which animators use to make different parts of a character move around. This early version of Woody had 596 of those controls, which may seem like a lot, but by 2019's Toy Story 4, Woody had more than 7,000. To make things a little more complicated, one control point is often connected to other control points. So moving one in the eyebrow will move the wrinkles on the forehead. Adding more controls to these Toy Story characters would have let them move with more nuance. But back then, Pixar was making a brand new rig for every single character. That would change with Toy Story 2. Pixar introduced Geppetto, later updated to Presto, which allowed animators to reuse and adapt rigs for multiple characters. This sped up the animation process and gave animators more control over movements and facial expressions. The new software provided a template of 2-legged and 4-legged rigs that could be altered depending on the specific needs of the character. According to rigger Jared Fong, the sea lions in Finding Dory were actually constructed from dog rigs, with legs folded into flippers. More control with Geppetto also meant more expressive facial movements, as seen in 2003's Finding Nemo. To really nail the character's emotions, animators used reference footage. Now, fish don't have eyebrows or eyelids, but eyebrows are so important for expressing human emotions. So animators decided to add eyebrow-like lumps to characters like Marlin and Dory. And replicating real facial expressions meant connecting more control points with each other. You can see that with Dory. The control points around her mouth are connected with her eyes and her cheeks, giving her a more believable smile. A smize, if you will. After making major strides with toys and sea creatures, the most daunting challenge was yet to come. Humans. Mr. Incredible consisted of 426 primary controls, 111 secondary animation controls for more subtle movements, and 1,061 modeling controls for sizing and other adjustments. Thanks to Geppetto, the rigging and modeling team could perfect Mr. Incredible and then reuse his rig for other characters. And to really make his movements realistic, they used full-body reference footage. For example, this clip where an animator lifts up this exercise ball was helpful for moments like this, where Mr. Incredible lifts up an Omnidroid. And the team didn't animate just a rigid skeleton. On top of the skeleton was a layer of muscles, which could bulge and flex, and the skin on top of that would need to respond realistically. So Pixar developed a new system called Goo. This allowed the animators to see the skin and muscles react in real time as they worked, allowing for greater flexibility in movement and more control over how humans move. Goo led to breakthroughs in moving more challenging body parts, like the shoulders, which were more primitive in earlier films.
So Buzz Lightyear's shoulder is a ball and socket. Woody's shoulder is just a stitch line. He's got no shoulders, right? That arm just hinges. Mr. Incredible has a big, old, strong shoulder. How you get a trapezius muscle there in the shoulder and how it moves into pectoral and really complex stuff.
The rigs built for the Incredibles were designed to let the characters stretch further than the average human. which was important for Elastigirl, who needed to transform into all shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
And just like how superheroes needed to react to forces like gravity, so too did the cars in Pixar's next feature, Cars. Pixar extended its technological boundaries yet again with a system called ground locking, which made sure the cars always stayed on the same path, regardless of terrain, without animators having to move them frame by frame.
We had to have our characters be able to follow the contours of the ground without having to animate them, like up and down if it was like a rolling hill. So it's going to move along these things, and then we're going to animate on top of that.
Because of ground locking, Lightning McQueen could now drive smoothly on a flat road that turns into a very windy path automatically. This may seem like a specific advancement just for the Cars movies, but it would be important for some of the most memorable characters in Soul. By 2007, animators could have up to 150 controls in the human face, so they could give characters a much wider range of emotion. Perfect for a movie like Ratatouille, which is largely set in the human world. All these intricate controls allowed for the complex array of expressions seen on Chef Skinner. Look at how far Chef Skinner's mouth extends as he's yelling at Linguini. According to supervising animator Mark Walsh, the tech wouldn't have been able to handle such a stretch in Toy Story or Finding Nemo. The groundbreaking muscle work in The Incredibles allowed animators to give Linguini more spontaneous movements in the scenes where he's controlled by Remy in the kitchen. By the time Toy Story 3 came out in 2010, Pixar's animators had gotten such precise control over how characters move that it's surprising they'd want to take a step backward. But they actually relied on fewer controls to better replicate the trademark toy movements audiences knew and loved.
If a character has a limited range of motion in its shoulder, what we'll do is we'll basically lock off some of that range of motion, and then that forces you to animate it in a different way.
They still had room to pick and choose what they would keep about the old characters and where to elevate them. For example, they could have put 25 controls in each of Buzz's eyebrows, but decided to keep them simple, like when he had just 3 per brow in the original, while also giving Spanish Buzz these complicated flamenco-like moves. There was one particularly hard toy to animate, the octopus named Stretch. Despite the innovations and stretchiness from The Incredibles, making 8 tentacles stretch and curl was still a daunting task.
We're fighting against the computer. The computer wants to make things that are solid, that are perfect.
But it was a challenge they would eventually master in Finding Dory. The hardest part of an octopus to replicate is the tentacles, which need to bend, curl, and unfurl. You can see early attempts at this with Stretch and this octopus-like monster all the way back in Monsters, Inc. In Finding Dory, Hank also needed to move around quite a bit and grab onto things.
I've actually not
like
seen
this
Finding
coffee
Dory.
pot. Hank also had more than 350 suckers combined on his tentacles.
Oh my God.
Those were so unpredictable that they had to be simulated, a process where movements are automated using code, like with strands of hair and clothing. The tentacles themselves were so dynamic that when one moved, it would move other parts of Hank's body as well. And animators used an altered version of this tentacle rig on Dante in Coco, giving the dog a long, twisty tongue. You can see it grab onto objects here in the short film Dante's Lunch. But the biggest challenge for Coco was music. Pixar had to figure out how to get Miguel to accurately play guitar. So they strapped GoPros directly to guitars, giving themselves the closest possible angle. They would listen to the guitar music and mimic the exact finger and string movements. It looks so authentic, but Pixar found it could push this even further and make playing music look even more real
I watched
in
Finding Dory
2020's
in elementary
Soul.
school. I think it's been a long
As
time,
with
right?
previous Pixar films,
Yeah.
some assets were reused.
I used to keep up with all the Pixar films up until The Incredibles, and then I sort of my awareness and whether I've watched them has become spotty after that. I've seen Ratatouille, for instance, but I haven't seen Coco.
For example, the same rig built for the Coco guitars was repurposed for Miho's
seen
bass.
Toy Story.
We modified it for 4 strings
3.
and just kind of repositioned it to work for that.
But for the scenes where Joe plays piano, they went far beyond just matching the music directly to audio. For reference footage, Pixar captured John Batiste playing piano at multiple angles. Then, character technical director Jason Davies and the rigging team built a piano rig, which functions like a digital piano. Davies fed the audio files directly into the rig, and the piano would play automatically in time with the music. If a key lit up blue, the animators would place Joe's left hand there, and his right hand would be placed on any key that turned red. They also tried developing a simulation for Joe's piano playing, but it proved tricky, as his finger was too heavy on the small piano keys. So Davies developed a finger contact rig similar to one used on Coco. Just like in Coco, where fingers moved the strings on guitars, Dorothea's fingers could play the saxophone, and most importantly, Joe could play the piano.
When their fingers would intersect the space where a key was, so it pushes down into the keyboard, it would calculate the proper angle that that piano key needed to rotate to make it look like he's pushing it.
While the piano played on its own, the hands still needed to capture the complicated motions of playing, which is why Joe was equipped with 292 controls in each of his hands. That's about half the amount of controls in Woody's entire body in the first Toy Story. The riggers added variables to Joe's hand that they had never used before. According to character model lead Mara McMahon, the team even added a control for each tendon in Joe's hands.
But that was something that could kind of capture the tension in his hands as he's playing the piano. So there's a control for each hand just to make a tendon appear if the animator wanted to really emphasize that particular pose.
These state-of-the-art hand and wrist controls weren't just useful for playing music, they also allowed for flexibility. Like Linguini and Ratatouille, Joe is tall and lanky, and has a lot of frenzied movements that had to be highlighted in scenes where he is inhabited by 22. For all this, Joe had 477 controls in his face and 789 additional controls throughout his entire body, giving him 1,266 controls total. Conversely, they limited the movements on Dorothea to show her regal stature. They even went as far as removing subtle blinks and nods.
It's all in the look, how they, hold their head up and how they just set their gaze upon whatever they're looking at.
But sometimes it's the simplest looking actions or characters that prove the hardest to control. Take the counselors. They look like simple 2D lines, but they were the most complicated characters to animate.
Doing the counselor characters for Soul was pushing our limits of what we could do, and it turned out amazing. That's building on 25, 26 years of history to get to that point.
Terry consisted of around 300 controls. A new tension control allowed animators to sharpen or add an angle by assigning it
This
a
is
higher
because they
value.
animated it
This
using
allowed
3D
Terry and the
animation
Jerrys to
techniques.
randomly grow fingers off their hands. Plus, they were able to easily transition between Terry's multiple forms using just a few controls, pivotal in scenes where Terry mutates into objects on Earth, like this handrail or this bag of chips. But of course, even something so new and unusual couldn't have been made without looking to Pixar's past. The stretchy software that built Hank and Dante's tongue allowed Terry to disguise herself in elaborate ways, like in this heart monitor and this brick wall. And the counselors couldn't just move the way a person could, posing another major challenge.
Since they don't have legs, right, they just slide around on the ground. The closest analogy was actually cars and that kind of stuff.
That meant they needed to borrow from the same ground-locking technology pioneered in Cars to keep the counselors in motion. When you get so good at making things move realistically, it's okay to sometimes let your imagination run wild.
We're not trying to make things look necessarily perfectly real. What we're trying to do is make sure that the emotions that are coming out of the characters and what they're thinking feel 100% real.
Yeah. Animation and stuff like that is fascinating, but I'm terrible. I have no skill in animation myself, so it's all just like magic to me. Oh, parents doing a blog. Wait. Parents doing a blog. They accidentally ate their adult child's edible. Wait. Okay, full volume. Actually, I'll just let it finish.
Well, what do you say? I say yes. Yes, what? I agree. Agree to what? We are blessed.
There. Yeah. Damn it. That was claimed by whoever posted that. Wonderful. Yeah. No, it's one of those things. Oh, it started playing automatically. It is a video. No audio. It's just a cat with some licensing company. Yeah, it's definitely one of those. Freaking. It really is the preferred way of walking. The cat just is like, nah. I'm walking on my front paws. He even falls down briefly and then gets back up. Wait. Again. So he starts, gets knocked down, jumps back up, continues walking. I'm assuming it's real. I mean, I've seen cats do that kind of thing before. Oh, no, not airport speedrun. Which episode of Thomas is this?
Henry, what are you doing?
Crack?
What the fuck?
At least I'm not using special coal.
Yeah, but this isn't exactly a good substitute. Where'd you get crack?
Edward?
What?
Yeah, right behind Edward's station. There's a white guy selling it.
Look, doing crack is not the answer to not using special coal. You need to find out why you need to use it in the first place. Here, look. Here's the number of a hypnotherapist I want you to see.
All right, Thomas.
Good. Hey, Henry, thought I'd check on you. Oh my god!
Tom came and took my baby.
That's a very well done recreation of that scene in Family Guy. Oh. Oh, I've seen this. They just can't stop the car. Yeah. The guy's just driving through the airport and they just can't stop him. They're all like chasing, but somehow he just keeps going. So none of them can stop him. It's like, how does that happen? Yeah. Anyway, 5 tips for sculpting better faces. Ah, we were just talking about sculpting.
Hey everyone, today I'm going to share with you 5 tips for how you can sculpt better faces in ZBrush. Let's dive right in. Tip number 1, move the light. One of the first things I tell my students when I'm teaching is, sculpting is the manipulation of light. To make a good sculpture, you must control how the light hits it. Light can be deceptive. For instance, let's look at this forehead region. It looks fairly smooth. However, if you move the light up, now all of a sudden you can see more of the superciliary arch in a totally different way. We have to make sure that the model includes this type of anatomical detail at extreme angles of light. And you have to take this into consideration for any head that you make. Tip number 2, look at the model from all different angles. Make sure you're tumbling around and analyzing from above, below, 3/4, etc. and comparing to reference. One of the most important parts of a portrait is the profile view. This angle helps establish a lot of the relationships of the face and sets you up for success. If you can keep the profile on track while still nailing what you need on the other angles, you're going in the right direction. It's also a good idea to view your model in your end rendering program through that specific camera. The camera in ZBrush has been upgraded to be more accurate, but there are still discrepancies between it and other software.
It's all good,
I often
Jesse.
jump into programs like Maya to test, render, and sculpt and make adjustments, even lighting up
Mr.
to image
Bean.
planes. Another good option I use is setting up a marmoset scene that
The
auto-updates
car
with
going
each
through
change.
the airport.
Having that second
Mr.
source
Bean,
of
yeah.
truth is a good tool to have. Tip number 3, study anatomy and reference life where possible.
What
It probably
software
goes
did I
without saying,
use?
but foundational
it
anatomy is
3?
important to making successful representational
3.
organic sculptures. I would recommend always looking directly at reference of the source subject and ideally not at another artist's depiction. You want to be interpreting with your own eyes. Beyond that, the best thing you can do for yourself, if you haven't already, is to study the human skull. Learn the different bones that comprise it, where the muscles are located, where fat deposit sits, and you'll have an incredibly easier path to success. We will cover topics like this on the channel, so please subscribe and stay tuned. Tip number 4, be open to any change, no matter how drastic. If you're watching this and thinking, I'll never be able to sculpt like that, trust me, You can, and this note is for you. Art is just about starting with a blank canvas, making a mark, responding, and adjusting to that mark over and over again. Sometimes you get it right, often you don't. By necessity, we'll make mistakes, and to succeed, you will need to fix those mistakes. That is the process and not an issue with your ability. Yes, as you practice, you will likely learn and make less or different mistakes, but that is the journey of being an artist. You must persevere, and you cannot be unwilling to change your work no matter how far along you've gotten into the process. Don't be afraid you'll mess something up. If you change it, just use a layer and make the changes and continue forward. You're probably closer to success than you think. Tip number 5, primary forms are the most important. Primary forms must drive your sculpture. Don't get caught up in the details. It may seem hard to believe, but this model that I have up on screen is about 80 to 90% finished. This is how I started my Robin Williams bust. I lined up all these shapes to my reference, and once you combine and smooth them, the hardest part of the battle is behind you. That shows the power of primary forms. Get those right and you will be successful. You should be able to view your model from very far away and still be able to tell who or what it is very clearly. The secondary and tertiary details like pores are only just the icing on the cake. That's it for today, everyone. Thanks for watching. Hope that you found...
I was just trying to remember, while I was watching that, I was just trying to remember what software I used. Was it Sculpt GL? There was a free software I used to use just for fun. It might be the Sculpt GL thing. Well, that looks weird. There's a site called Sculpt GL, which just gives you like basically like a 3D modeling thing. Yeah. It looks like nipples. You can just like mess around with like sculpting and yes. Yeah, so you can like try out sculpting 3D stuff. I don't know if that is what I used to use, but just for fun. But it might have been ZBrush, the free version. ZBrush Core Mini might have been what I used, but like that GL Sculpt GL seemed to work really well. Yeah, I don't remember. Whatever the case. Rorius Game Jam 2. Yeah, the Rorius Game Jam 2 is coming soon. That is going to be my nightmare for today. Do a sculpting competition. I mean, I'd be willing to host a sculpting competition. I myself, as you saw, am I'm very professional. I'm assuming this is like faces on things. Who's a good speaker?
Who's a good speaker? Yeah, you're a good speaker. Yes, you are.
Oh my god, the face on that. Brilliant. And now, this is the top from last night, when I originally posted the stream. So this should be plenty more after this. We'll refresh after this. How my cat likes to study. No dates yet. Oh god. I was like, oh, there we go, you finally grabbed one. No, I don't think Jonas... Yeah. Cheated on you with orangey. Wow. I remember reading a thing or hearing a thing about like what people think is the reason why cats do this. And I can't remember what it is now. But there's like a theory on why cats knock stuff off of a perch. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was expecting him to go after the cup next, after he got the pins. Then the owner just kept adding more pins. It's very cute. I do love cats. The previous game jam we hosted, it was, when was it? It was like, was it July or August? It was July or August last year. Yeah, I want a cat, but I can't get one. I'm not allowed. Because it's either because it's a manifestation of hunting or they just want attention, Lamau. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. The scientist demonstrating the theory of gravity. Yeah, I was thinking it was something to do with like having no memory of what it was July. Yeah, okay, July 13th to July 27th. Yeah, yeah. I was thinking it might be to do with like in like a perch location, they don't want anything around them distracting them or potentially being a threat. Which could be a hunting manifestation, you know, they want pure, they want to be able to just like focus on hunting the things or like watching the things on the ground. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows? I don't think anyone knows for certain. There's no way to fully know. So now that I've refreshed, we're up to here. Okay. Did my daylight? Ah, I see. Is there a timestamp? Yeah, timestamp. Permit hit on RPD at 34:59. Okay, I'll make sure I go to 34:59.
I was gonna grab him. Borrow? Are you dead-hearted? How did I put it?
Yeah, I'm amazed that landed.
But
as I said, I want to get a cat, but I'm not allowed.
I do not need a hook. I do not need a hook if I have a hook. Alright, actually, where are you? I'm going to show you what judgment really is. He already broke the hook expecting for me to hook him. Little did he know. First of all, I'm not gonna waste time. I'm gonna wait. If you have unbreakable, it doesn't matter. Oh, I can also more him. I'll take this, boy. This person. That's Marion good. Oh my goodness.
Oof. Just oof. And they immediately
Okay,
blew something
Maury, I'll
up.
take that.
Oh, I can hear it.
Where is it? Oh, that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
So that gate or that gate? It'll be easy because I watched the YouTube video of this exact pattern.
Yeah. I got that. I'm just gonna watch how this ends.
And I can get a 4K Mori.
I haven't decided just yet how soon I'll do the game jam, but I want to do it soon. But like what I want and what I can actually achieve isn't always super straightforward.
There he is.
Like imagining this is Pyramid Head speaking.
You are not going anywhere, girl. I want this 4K. 4K Mori. I told you. I shouldn't have DC. Let's go. 4K Mori.
Yeah. Very nice, very nice. Oh, and here's the I saw it show up in recommended for the previous Mr. Bean one. Biggest plot twist. I'm gonna let you go. No. Just kill. Yeah, I saw this pop up in the recommended for the previous Mr. Bean one, so I was like excited to see that later.
I hope they're still using this frequency. Damn. Unforeseen consequences.
What did you say?
Dad!
Holy shit. Mr. Bean, true MVP of the Combine and Resistance. Aww. Oh my god.
Dad! Oh, God. Dad! Dad, please. Dad. Oh my god.
That scene in Mr. Bean is so sad.
Oh my god.
Almost as sad as Eli. That was used so well. That was so brilliant. That was perfect. Alright. I made a drawing to give gratitude for Rorius and his efforts on his videos on YouTube. Aww. Aww. Where's your... You're grateful for making good and stupendous content on YouTube, especially your Portal vids. Aw, thank you, Nathan. Like Portal content, but I also do other content too. Yeah. Yeah, Garliphone, the telephone game, yeah. Aw, thank you. Yeah. Actually, I have some art that a student of mine made that I've been meaning to post. I'll probably post it on Instagram at some point. I think I talked about this before, but that scene ain't even funny. I don't get how everybody I've seen watch it always laughs at it. Oh, you mean, yeah, the scene where his car gets crushed by the tank? Yeah, no, as a kid, I was always devastated. I never laughed at that scene. I was always horrified. Like, I was just very, it always made me, like, tear up a little. Because he's got, like, genuine sadness. Like, genuine, like, there's, like, genuine grief on his face. Or at least, as good as an actor can do. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I have it on my phone. Wait, actually, I have it in, I have it somewhere. One second, I'll go grab it. I've got like the actual art. One second, I'll be right back. It seems we got happy by taking the lock off the car. Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What the heck did I do with it? Damn it. Couldn't find it for a second there because it had fallen underneath something. But this student, like, on the first day, oh, you probably can't even see it. It's probably way too bright. Yeah, you can't even see it because it's the wrong paper. Well, let's just adjust the brightness. One second. Properties. Take a video. It's like it's a lie. Exposure. Yeah. Eh. She made a little drawing of me. it's a little hard to see. I'll post a better quality picture on Instagram, but she drew a little picture of me with like a dog that I. There was like, oh god, look at that. It was like on the first day of Impact of the system, the like the thing that I go into school for. On the very first day, that we were told, like, students were told to make a persona thing that was like something that you would. It's a stage of it's a stage of technology where you develop like a person, like an ideal like client sort of thing for something you have, and in this case it was like make a persona of either me or the other teacher who was there. Like, this person has a dog that you have to, and they're concerned about leaving their dog while they're working during the day, and so like you have to come up with a product that will like help them feel better about leaving their dog for the day. So, Fanius, as in like, or Fanius. Yeah, Fanius. I see. Yeah, it's a like it was like made up that I had a dog that I had to like look after somehow, and her idea was like I had a TV screen with my face. Like I basically just streamed myself to my dog during the day. Uh, and yeah. So that was like I was when I saw her drawing, she drew me and she drew the other teacher. I was like, oh my god, I have to save that. Oh, I just realized, Josie, what you meant by the only part you liked is the thing where he takes the lock. Yeah, that is a nice bit at the end. It's like he takes the lock off the destroyed car and he's like, oh, good, and he walks off with the lock. But yeah, no, I was always saddened by that scene. I would always get really upset. You spin like a fan. Can I be your student? You'd be suspended very quickly. Yeah. But yeah, so that was yeah. I'll post a better picture on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram. Link down below. I have already seen this. Gabe Newell goes to people's houses and delivers them their Steam Deck. I'm a little bit salty. I thought Gabe Newell was still in New Zealand, but apparently he's returned to America. I was a little bit salty because they don't sell Steam Decks here in New Zealand.
So what do these people know?
So I emailed them, hey, we are reaching out to a few folks that we have listed as Steam Deck reservation holders in the first batch who happen to live near Valve. Since we'll need someone home to sign for it, we're reaching out to see if it works, and if so, please confirm address for delivery. One guy said, I don't believe you.
Hopefully people won't get mad that I'm signing them.
Thank you, Maddie.
I think it's going to be weird. Like, if I were at home and I was getting a delivery from Amazon and people with cameras get out of a truck, I'm going to be like, I've got your Steam Deck. Hi.
Oh my god.
Hello.
Yeah.
Are you Hayden?
Yes.
Hi, Hayden. I'm Gabe.
Oh my god, hello.
So we got some of the
Nerds losing their minds over like getting a delivery from Gabe Newell himself.
So cool. This is.
he's like,
He's
lost for words.
Hi.
Hi.
Are you Debbie?
Hi.
I am. I can see that you are Gabe Newell.
Here's your deck.
Wow.
What's with the camera crew?
Hi, are
Gabe
you
the rapper.
Audrey?
Yeah, Audrey.
Hi, Audrey. I'm Gabe Newell. I work at Valve.
Yeah.
And we're
Most people are
delivering
like,
your
yes, I know.
There you go.
If you're buying a Steam Deck, you're probably very aware of Valve. Also, it looks like Gabe has a beak. Yeah, the way he's wearing his mask is real strange. It has like an upturn to it. Yeah.
bringing me back to my days as a Western Union telegram delivery boy. So for us, this is a really important moment where Deck stops being a theoretical product.
Yeah, I wish I could buy a Steam Deck. I don't have a Switch, so I would buy a Steam Deck. It would achieve for me the similar idea. But yeah, they don't sell it here, and I also am a little poor, so I don't have the money for it. There's some stories on Reddit about this. Apparently, he got recognized by someone, and they gave him and all his housemates dicks. Oh, oh damn. Gabe is Valve, basically. Well, the Switch has stick drift for 5 years, and the dick got a fix for it in one day. Yeah, I heard about that. Like, people were trying to make fun of the dick because they're like, it has drift so soon, and then it was just like an update, like immediately released to fix it, and that's it. It's just a software fix. Yeah, maybe it could be the difference, like a difference in the way that the drift happens. But yeah, like at least from my perspective, it was very funny to see all the people like start like shitting on Steam Decks, and then immediately it got the problem was solved. Hey Thomas, hey, welcome to the stream. All right, we should switch. Oh, we should move on. August Minecraft video, actually a good watch, I promise. Okay. That just seeing that Pepe like fall from the top of the screen, I thought it was a freaking slime, and I was like, "What? What the heck?" Yeah, what the fuck?
Wait a second. Is that the dragon that flew through the portal in episode like 16? It's the same direction, dude. We're dipping. Okay, chat. Here we go. There's two! What was that?
Is he playing on modded Minecraft?
Dragon in the boat.
So last night, on March 30th, 2020,
No.
I was streaming Season 4 Hardcore, and I was in the Nether doing a new project. Don't worry, I won't show any spoilers. And we figured out that to continue with something that I wanted to do, I needed chorus fruit. So we went to the End Islands, and we found 2 dragons instead. I had no idea what sort of ride I was in for. Back in episode 18 of the YouTube series, we were fighting the dragon multiple times. It went through one of these portals. And we thought it came back. Turns out it didn't. The game respawned another dragon in the sky. There exists 2 more dragons that we've just awoken from their slumber of being in unloaded chunks. All we wanted to do was get chorus fruit, and we've accidentally awoken 2 dragons, and they're making a beeline for 0-0 Atlantis. Now we can either be a little bitch, or we can face them head on, fight them, and kill them. I think you can guess which one I'm going with. Ian, can you put the chat in emote only, please? Just in case this lasts super long, I'm going to take a bunch of extra elytras. It shouldn't, but I can't predict what's going to happen when they get back. When they get back to that place, of all places. It is not a normal end island.
What the?
So I get rid of the end crystals now that are in the bottom of.
What is this? This has to be modded or something. Why is there water? Why is there like a water island?
Super worried about that.
He built it all. That's his build. Oh, I see.
I think I need to place water over these to stop them from.
Did it in hardcore? Holy shit!
Oh, it blew up the other one as well. His eyes fell off. Oh god. Okay, we'll worry about that later. We'll give him his eyes back later. Don't worry. Should we save Milo? Let's protect Milo. He's over here somewhere.
I do remember the 5-year-old world that where he died. I remember that.
Okay, Milo's safe.
I saw that.
Okay. Let's pull up F3 so I can see whereabouts we're at. There's one. Here comes chat. Fuck. Did it go back through the portal again? Saved? He sliced through and went back through the portal. That means I can kill him before he gets here. If that's repeatable, if that happens every time, I can kill him before he has time to f things up. Here we go, I guess. We're gonna use a lot more fireworks than I anticipated. I'm not gonna know when this guy's gonna die though. I just have to keep shooting, dude. We might be on this for like 20 minutes. Oh, there he goes.
I like how his bow is named Vibe Check.
He slows down every time I hit him.
You're in from. Oh, I see. So that really launched his streaming.
He's going a different way. Holy shit, there he goes. He's underneath. So we did a ton of damage. Not enough to kill him. But if he's underneath the island right now, I could finish the job. Wait, where'd he go? Oh my god. Oh! Is he going back up?
This world is like 2 to 3 years old now. Oh shit.
No.
C418 soundtrack is godly with
He's
with
spinning
videos like
around the
these.
same
Yeah, yeah.
location. He's not regaining any health. Getting rid of those crystals, I think, was the best idea. Holy fucking shit, he's just wrecked the Ender King. This is the problem. I need to get in there. I need to get close enough to him to actually hit him. Oh! There he goes. He's destroying everything on his path. Holy shit. Oh my god. Well,
So he did
shit.
some serious damage.
He ripped a big old hole in the Enderman grinder, and Fortnite Chapter 2 is dead, probably. Dead as dicks. Yep, confirmed. He also broke a chest on the way up. I saw the swords. Yep. Holy. Whoa, dude. Okay. Some pickaxes. We got morning wood. We saved morning wood. What the of everything to survive, that stupid f***ing sword survived that. Are you shitting me? Okay, let's get the shaders off. I don't want any lag at all. We're gonna go see where the second one is. If there even technically was. We saw a second one, but where the f*** is he now, dude? He came from the same location. We'll hear him first before we see him. There he is. Well, you don't. I want to get too close because he can do so much damage to me.
Nice.
Get the fuck out of my Atlantis!
Atlantis.
It's my house! Oh my god!
Damn.
This is my end realm. My realm. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Oh, fucking hell. Holy shit. Oh my god. Woo! Saved, dude. Holy shit. Oh my god. You were here. You can turn off emote only mode now, Ian, if you want. Ah. All right, everyone, be on the merry way. Let's all chill out. Let's.
Is that the majority of
Everyone that's
it?
here to see
I'm
if
assuming
I
that the
die,
rest is just talking.
Scoot on back to your hole, you fucks. Not dead yet.
Well, holy shit. Chills from those exits from other songs. Yeah. Bills has said that he will die to a warden, and that will be how he dies in this world, probably. Should see his world now. I mean, yeah, it's probably come a long way. He said he will feel too cocky and get too trapped. Can two Ender Dragons actually spawn in the end on hardcore difficulty? No, so it's as he was describing there, what's happened is they were farming dragons at some point. He was like summoning dragon, killing it, summoning a dragon, killing it, summoning a dragon, killing it. And he summoned a dragon, and it must have gone, it hit one of the like those portal blocks that teleport you away from the core, away from the main island, and teleports you or whatever hits it all the way into the like end islands area, which is like 1,000 units or something, or 2,000 units away from 0-0. And then for some reason, because there was no longer a dragon, but you were in the middle of a fight, the game spawned another dragon for them to fight. So they didn't think anything of it. It wasn't until they were flying around in the end islands that suddenly they found the dragon that got teleported, flying back towards 0-0. In fact, there were two of them. Two of them did the same thing while they were farming dragons. That's wild. I didn't know that would actually happen. That's crazy. Right, I played this mod pack a few times and I'm already bored. Philza, playing vanilla hardcore Minecraft for literal years and years. Yes, it teleported them into an unloaded chunk, so until the player got to that chunk, the dragon wasn't going to be able to move. The dragon destroyed his Ender King build as well, which was like enemies with the dragons. Oh, I see. Worked really well with his world's lore, so he kept it. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Oh, neat. Yeah, alright, anyway. Years of development into that single, like, crazy video. Yeah, anyway. We've got business, or bimsness. Which some of these were something, I don't know. Okay. Oh, it's a playlist. I was like, this is 5 seconds.
Business!
Okay.
Hanging in there, Star. Post this star to let your buddies know you're hanging in there. You could lose it at any moment.
Oh, God.
Hey, number neighbor, who am I speaking to? What?
You didn't choo-choo on that beat. You wouldn't send a booty pic with your panties on and one without them on, and 3 different picture of your booty is any position, and a normal pic of your pussy from the front, and one where it's spread a bit open, and a picture of you fingering yourself, and a pic of you doing a kissing face, but also with your boobs in it, and a pic of your pussy and ass from behind in one shot, and a pic your full front body in just a bra and panties, a pic of your arse or your panties are all up, and a pic of your boobs while you're in the shower, and another pussy pic while you're in the shower, and whatever all the sexy things you want, and a video of you twerking in just really short shorts, and one of you fingering yourself, and one of you actually coming, and one of you play with your tits while not wearing a shirt. It's time to stop.
What am I with?
Yeah, I'm engineering my fucking limit.
City's out, but still rocking that designer choker. She knows what she's about. That smile, she really don't give a fuck. Picorita.
I hate updating my software! I hate updating my software! We've got you surrounded. Accept our terms of service. Greetings, contestants. We are the humble Sir and the completely incomprehensible Star Horse. Welcome to Squid Games. We did it. We took down Big Pharma.
L plus ding that plus no broads plus eat your heart out plus hit the bricks.
Yeah, plus ratio.
What the fuck is a ratio? That's fucking football right there. None of that pansy-ass, dick-tugging smile for the camera bullshit. Men puke, men poop on the field. Men deliver their newborn baby on the sidelines. Fucking hardcore, dick-in-the-ass, butterball, foosball, fuck it, chuck it, game time shit. Take it to the showers. Dicks get shoved in places you don't even remember. We win together, we celebrate together. Football is back, baby.
I love it. The president from Have mercy, yes. The president from Metal Gear Rising becoming a meme has been very funny. Anyway, let's move on. We saw a few of them. I am concerned, yes. If it can be uploaded, it can be reacted to, right? Willem Dafoe is literally like one of the best people ever. I actually really like Willem Dafoe.
These are frame blue jeans. These are shoes that I picked up in Mexico. Wow! This is maybe Prada. This is some sport thing. I don't know. Oh man! These is Insulate. I don't know.
Yeah, gotcha. Money.
Listen, I don't want to.
Yeah, no, I really like Willem Dafoe and everything I've seen him in. Damn, the resurrection of Margaret Taylor shorts.
I'm working on a Vsauce video about images, and I just cut a bit from the script that I realized I could share right now as a short. It begins with this book that I had as a kid about the First Ladies. It contains a picture of each one except Margaret Taylor. Of her, it says, "No authentic likeness survives." Now, what fascinated me was that this wasn't a new problem. In this image of her husband on his deathbed, which was drawn while she was alive, she is depicted covering her face. Why? Because she was so reclusive that even then no one could be found who knew what she looked like. It is remarkable that someone in her position could be so faceless both now and then. But in 2010, everything changed. 2 photographs of her were uncovered. You know the old saying that you die twice? First when your body perishes, and then again the last time your name is said? Well, Margaret Taylor was resurrected from what might be the third death, the last time an image of you is seen.
Yeah, that's fascinating. It's always fascinating when something so old gets uncovered suddenly. It almost makes me suspicious. It makes me like, is that really their image? Or could it be that someone just says that it's their image? It's been so long, how do we know? I'm sure there's science to back up the claim that it is
Cyan,
that person.
Magenta, and yellow. Subtractive color mixing. I worked with the inventors of the original CMY Cube to make this special edition, which Curiosity Box subscribers will be receiving in the spring. The cyan face filters out long wavelengths, while the yellow filters out short ones. Together, only the greens in the middle of the visible spectrum get through. Magenta blocks the middle of the spectrum. So paired with cyan, only short wavelength blues and purples come through. And paired with yellow, just the long reds and oranges emerge. It's not too late to get this and more. Go to curiositybox.com to join, and thank you for supporting smart toys, a good cause, and for feeding your brain.
I think it's funny how it is. Oh, it's cool. I like though that it was basically just an ad. It's a cool device. I would buy it if I had money. Parents, I do have money, but not for it has to go towards living costs. Parents doing emojis wrong. Oh, this is all the time.
I must share the fact that my mum sent the wrong emoji and it made her sound like a psychopath. I thought they would have been laughing, but they sounded frightened and in pain. What the fuck? Wrong use of emoji, Dad. I hope you are curry was nice. Grimace emoji, lips emoji. Yeah. Your Uncle Mark died. Skull emoji. Hi, how are you? I got your card. Thank you. It was very touching. Snore. Happy birthday. Party on. We'll call you tonight. Love, Mum. Shit emoji, shit emoji, shit emoji, shit emoji, shit emoji, shit emoji. Shit emoji, shit emoji. Oops, Dad says those are poos. I thought that were cakes. Sorry. We just picked up cheese curds. Sweetheart, happy Valentine's Day. You are my gift from God, and I will always treasure you. Bad idea. I hit the wrong one, Guy S. Happy Transgender Day. Mum, that is the flag for the country of Bolivia. No, wait, sorry. Bolivia. My dad just sent me a whole 40-inch emoji from his work email. They overturned Bill Cosby's sexual assault conviction and he was released from prison. Oh, I feel really bad for her. I know, it's a shame. Mum, you can't use that face. So wrong when your mum uses an emoji to show the colour of a hat. Granny is not good. Smiling contently emoji. Oh, okay, sounds good, sweetie. Sweet dreams. You too, mama. Just saw a lightning bug. Thought of you. Have a great week. Love ya. This made my night. Love you too. Simple things are the best. Rolling eyes emoji. Went to my spam. Ugh. I tried to chat with you earlier, but all I got was, you got ants? Crickets. Awkward moment when my mum uses the wrong crying emoji. Hannah's still missing. Knows she's murdered. Crying with laughter. Goodbye, little Willow. I'm sorry. Mum, that's the laughing so hard I'm crying face. Again. I saw an item in the local papers this week. An elderly woman was killed in West Pymble, hit by a motorist. She was 70. Ouch. RBG died. Yes, so sad about it. That's funny. Laughing, mad. Sorry, no mad. I was going to ask why you were mad. Accident fat fingers. My mum used the wrong emoji to pay me back for the water dispenser I ordered for her. Night. Will you guys bring home the bag of nuts on my desk? I may need them. Cheeky wink. Crab, 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 crab. Spider, 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 crab, spider, 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 spider. Spiders. Dad, those are crabs, not red spiders. Well, they look like spiders. Did you know Teddy died? Happy birthday, Selena, and many more. Fist, balloon, mask, confetti, wink, flower, glee, muscle, prayer, angel cake, champagne, party, happy, party popper, fire helmet, present, top, syringe. We will try to FaceTime Tom if that works. Yes, and yes. I need to get a look at you. A tongue? Watching Living in Poverty on BBC Two. It's 2017. How is this going on? All children deserve to have a good quality of life, not worrying about where they're going to sleep and eat. I watched it too. I was in tears. It's disgusting. Naughty devil emoji. Did you notice his fingers? I didn't till now. Huh? Whose? Those aren't fingers. Hey, baby girl, Cousin Noonie died this morning at her house. Yeah! How do I remove all emojis from my dad's phone? Because what is even this? Thank you so much. Pleasure. Love you, Mama Boo thing. Heart 100. Don't ever use that ghetto emoji ever again, LeMayo. Did not know it was ghetto. Was just looking for a heart and a number to say how much I love you. I'm not into that stuff. What's up, Buttercup?
Jump scare at the end. Startled. Yeah, no, I've seen too many I watch some channels that do like Reddit reading stuff, and the old people Facebook Reddit is so full of that, of like old people not realizing that the laughing crying emoji is not just a crying emoji. That's the most common one, I think. Saying like, yeah, your Uncle Steve died today. Laughing, crying emoji. The fuck you emoji for you. Yeah, I like that one. Just straight up, like, gives her the fingers, no reason. Alright. Did I see this one? Oh, I didn't.
Just before Christmas, I entered a game making competition where I only had half an hour to program the whole game. So I could get the graphics, the audio, the music, the backgrounds all done before I started.
Exactly, Jonas.
However,
like
I
that.
misread the rules and I thought it started on the 22nd, but it actually ended on that day. So I had far less time than everyone else to prepare all those assets. So I spent about 2 hours doing that, and then I got to work on the half-hour coding session, which I recorded in its entirety over on the Cubicle Brothers video website page thing, if you want to see it. Cut.
Let's go, ho ho.
So my game was a simple Christmas-themed entry where you run about as Santa, delivering presents to all of the houses on the level without letting the evil snowmen touch you. They run straight at you, but get blocked by stuff on the screen. And you can shoot them, using whichever weapon you've been equipped with for that particular level. I managed 3 stages in total, each getting faster and more difficult than the one before it. And in case you were wondering, the music used is from my dad's new album.
It will be released sometime in the new year, but right now I'm just trying to familiarise myself with the songs. And I've got to say, I've grown fond of this track simply by featuring it in this game. The rules of this competition were to make a game in half an hour and to upload a video of yourself doing it, presumably to prevent
PC
cheating.
Dan.
Half an hour game making is unexplored territory for me.
Filed
I've
a
made games in
bankruptcy.
2 hours before, though I did the graphics in that time as well. Turns out that bit of it is a necessary but incredibly dull time sink, and is probably the bit that makes the biggest difference to how good the final game feels to play. I hope this competition isn't rated too heavily on the graphical assets, firstly because mine are rubbish, and secondly because it's got nothing to do with the half-hour time element of the competition. I've been using FaceApp to age my face, making for an excellent, decrepit-looking Santa, which serves to decorate the screens and also to add a touch of dankness to an otherwise fairly dull game file. I was also aware that, having had several weeks to make this game, other people would probably have done the half-hour coding session several times, meaning they could fine-tune their game, learn to avoid the problems associated with it, and generally to produce a much more polished half-hour game and recording than I could have done, having left it to the last minute and attempted it only once. So how do you ensure that you get a game done in half an hour? How do you pace yourself? And here's the secret. You don't. You start and are all like, go, 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 and you keep that up for half an hour. I've talked before about crunch time and its miraculous powers of productivity, and this competition is half an hour of that. I have extensive experience with the Game Maker, so I can do most things in it quite quickly. And I set out to have the bulk of the game done in 15 minutes, so I can spend the remaining time testing and adding more, but unnecessary, content to it. At the beginning of the project, you can see that I'm copying the graphics over from another game file, which is perfectly allowed, not breaking any rules there. But what was this file? Well, this was where I drew the graphics, obviously, but also where I experimented with the gameplay I wanted my entry to have. I want to say that it wasn't a finished or even playable version of the game by any stretch of the imagination. It was just a place for me to test bits of the project that I thought I would have difficulties with. For instance, when Santa touches a house, it lights up. It would be more elegant just for it to change its animation when this happens. But I decided it was simpler to swap it out for a completely different model, so that I could move on to the next level once all the original house models had been destroyed, and so on. In game making, there are many ways of doing the same thing, but this approach was the best for me because it was the fastest to implement and least likely to go wrong if I changed the number of houses or whatever else might happen later on in the project.
It's a
and
nice
if I hadn't made a test file like this for the game,
way.
I would have forgotten stuff like the pop animation when a snowman dies, because I don't think about that kind of stuff until I'm testing a game.
I was gonna say, it's interesting because you could make it set up so that you have like a number that you have to reach for a level. Like for this level, there are 10 houses, so you have like a value of how many houses you've currently got, and that goes increments up to 10, and when it equals the level number, then you can move on to the next level. But it's way safer and easier and simpler for expansion if you just have like an array or a list that is like a bunch of houses just in the map, and it's just like, if this array equals 0, move on. That way, I still don't get how anyone can make a game in Click Team Fusion, but all the power to them. Yeah, I'd be curious to try it. How much is Click Team Fusion? Click Team Fusion. That's one that I keep forgetting to mention it to my students as an option, an engine option. Our products. Oh, there's a free version. It's way too much. I see. About Rorius Clicker, because adding upgrades is so boring. Okay, fair enough. How paid engines can exist in a world with Unity, Unreal, and Godot is beyond me. Yeah, I frequently mention Godot, Unity, and Unreal, but I always forget. Forget ClickTeam. Then again, as you say, yeah, like why use a paid one when those ones exist? How can these even survive this climate? Yeah, you can just download a free one. I wonder what is limited in the free version. I hate it when they don't just have the price like well publicized. You have to like go into it a bunch before it'll show you the price. C# is best. C++ is cool, and I can't stand Java for some reason. Java is just like C#. I don't know. JavaScript is very different. JavaScript I struggle with. Worse, and for some reason that makes it worse than C++. That's fair. That's totally fair. It is worse than C#, and C++ probably is better than Java, just for Java's limitations. Yeah, so I see a list of like all the things that are limited with the free version. There's a ton of shit that the free version can't do. I guess you go to the web shop? So I'm like trying to buy it, like not really, but like sort of trying to buy it as if I was going in and buying it, and it's really not straightforward. Okay, here we go. Okay. Click Team 2.5, the latest one, is 79. I'm assuming that's $79.00. Because it's in euros. Even though I set my location to New Zealand, I got it in euros. It's on Steam. Steam. Click Team Fusion. Oh, on Steam it's because it's the New Zealand dollars, but it's 120 New Zealand dollars. A little bit pricey, especially with like RPG Maker being less than that. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's once again outside the price range of my students. Yeah, that's what I've always found, is that like, yeah, Java just has a lot of limitations to do with the way it runs. C# has the benefits of C++, but with the package of Java, which I think is just really nice. Have you tried modifying the source engine? Like I've done a little bit of that, not much. When I originally tried modifying source engine stuff, I didn't know any programming language. Now that I know C# and C++ a little bit, like C# well, C++ a little bit, I should actually go back and have a look, see if I can understand what I couldn't understand back in the day. Yeah. Anyway, back to the video.
And in a half-hour project, by then it's too late to draw it from scratch. And also the menus. I needed a main menu, a game over screen, and a game complete screen. I could have made and typed these up during the half-hour game making session, but it made a lot more sense to treat these as graphics objects by pre-making images for each of these that I could just copy over, complete with pre-written text and instructions,
in the video?
And a sound effect to flesh these screens out with.
I hate
With
hearing
enough
that.
time and effort, I'm sure I could have really abused this pre-made graphics aspect of the competition, especially if I made a...
Wait.
I'm sure I could have really abused this pre-made graphics aspect of the competition, especially if I made a game like Myst, where it's all about the graphics and exploration. But I think my project was quite sensible with what was pre-made and what wasn't. It didn't take the piss. So with these assets pre-made, I did have a general idea of the game I wanted to make and how it would turn out.
Great.
Half an hour isn't long enough for me to be able to make levels for it. Again, I
opinion.
could have pre-made entire levels graphically beforehand, but I didn't.
I'm incredibly biased.
So I opted instead for randomly placed trees, enemies and houses, and a map that was large enough to make it challenging for you to find them all, but not too big that it gets frustrating.
Style of Java,
I made it
such
so that the
extensive
enemies
library
spawned
of
slightly
stuff to
faster than
use.
you could
Yeah.
kill them.
Yeah.
And that made it quite a frantic
It really
but
is
fun
the
little
best,
shooter game.
in my
In
opinion.
the back of my mind, there are potential problems. What if trees spawn inside a
Yeah,
house?
yeah, they're
what
like,
if a house
boom.
spawns on your player?
It was
and
like,
so
is
on.
that me?
Again, you have to weigh up the chances of this
Running
happening and
Rust
act
too.
accordingly. If there wasn't such a fierce time restriction, then of course I'd have devised an elegant
Rust?
solution to this. But as it was, I deleted trees that spawned on stuff and assumed that if a house spawned on a player, then it wouldn't cause a problem, and hope for the best. I wasted a lot of time here. I was
Never
looking
even
for the
heard of
close
Rust.
button to close the graphics file I was borrowing from, but for some reason I couldn't see it. I guess because I was panicking because I was under time constraints. I can obviously see it now, but this was one of those bits where I wasted a lot of time in a way that will confuse anybody watching because it isn't apparent what I'm trying to do, nor exactly why I need to do it. Because I don't. At around the 15-minute mark, I had a working game. I briefly tested it to ensure that it all worked roughly as intended, then set to work making extra levels for it, because I thought I was fast enough to be able to add them, and that this would be the feature that would make the judges wonder how the hell I managed to cram all this into half an hour. Different weapons, different levels, different challenges. It seems a shame to make a game engine than not to add this sort of variety to it. I made the second level feature a shotgun, which fired multiple bullets at once, but took longer to reload. I also upped the speed of the snowmen and the rate at which they spawned at, meaning that you had to kill several of them with one shot if you wanted to stand a chance. I also increased the number of trees just to make the level feel a bit different to play, and also because blocking snowmen behind these trees is a valid gameplay feature. And for the final level, I increased the number of houses Santa has to visit to 20, dropped the tree cover, and gave you a fast-firing machine gun. I also made snowmen run even faster. None of this stuff was tested beforehand. I just had to guess the correct values, and I think it worked, because it's definitely the fastest and most difficult level of the lot. But it still doesn't feel unfair. It might have been a half-hour game-making competition, but only half of that was spent coding it. The other half was spent playing, testing and fixing. It worked well for the snowmen to have large hitboxes so that they got stuck on stuff, and for Santa to have a tiny hitbox so that he isn't killed unless snowmen are literally right inside him. I described this choice as being forgiving. But I soon discovered that having trees and houses block your bullets was infuriating. It was much better for the snowmen to still be blocked by those elements, but for it to work in your favour by you still being able to shoot through them, and I felt it improved the gameplay immensely to give the player this advantage. I caught a few bugs too. Fortunately not COVID, but I did catch bugs like where the victory scene then jumps to the game over, which would have made for a very unhappy ending. And towards the end of testing, Santa finally spawned inside a house, and was completely unable to move. And this was more game-breaking than I thought it would have been, so I botched his movements that touching a house would transport him backwards. This is a trade-off. It fixes this game-breaking bug, and others like it, but makes his movement feel slightly buggier the rest of the time. Again, a more elegant solution could have been found had there been more time. I didn't see the need to cut this game-making competition too finely, so I finished and compiled the exe file at the 28-minute mark. And there it is, a half-hour game. I notice a few bugs still remain. It says level 2 when it should say level 3. And Santa does have a running animation, but I forgot to feature it so he just slides about the level instead. This is the sort of detail that I'm rubbish at spotting because it doesn't affect gameplay in the slightest. And even when I do spot it when testing the game, by the time I'm finished playing it, I've forgotten about it and typically have something more important on my mind that needs fixing instead. So of course I'd have liked for more time to polish and to test it. You might look down on this little game, but I'd argue this gameplay is better than in most of the games that I've made, because it doesn't outstay its welcome, and because its simple challenge and gameplay is quite satisfying to master. And perhaps more importantly, the difficulty of it feels right, compared with all those more advanced games I've made where either it doesn't pose a challenge, or it takes so long to master the gameplay that most people won't bother with it. So yeah, I finished and then I submitted the game and the video of me making it, and a few days later, Click Team themselves emailed me, asking for the source recording. There are only two reasons why they would have done this. Either they couldn't figure out how to rip the video off YouTube directly, or because they thought I was cheating, and I have to admit I am pretty damn fast, so I'll just assume it's that because it helps inflate my already bulbous ego.
When you make the judges wonder, that's how you know you're on the right track. Yeah. How do you swing in Yonkers? Swing, that's a name also I have not heard in a long time. Old man Philip with a filter. Yeah.
I took part in this competition because it felt like a great opportunity to spend a couple of hours.
He used an old
games.
man filter to make him look
something I've never
Santa.
done before, and I felt the strict time limit would have limited the quality of the games enough that my silly little idea might still stand a chance. But I also made it because it gives me something to look forward to. Until the results are announced in January, I can sit back knowing I've got something to look forward to, and that alone justifies the time I've invested.
Yeah, so it's, once again, more game making stuff, and I'm getting in the mood for some development. Even though it's like a really simple game, it's still like I haven't done anything like that in such a long time. Russia got banned from Swift, so they have to use Objective-C. Oh my god. I'm so glad I did 335 a year earlier than the rest of you. Oh, yes. Yes. I did not have to suffer through Java Swing. Yeah, 335 was that paper. Like, if I had done it when you did it, I could have got just an easy A. but the year that the rest of us decided to do it, in our third year, the year that kind of made sense to do it, it was a fucking mess. My friend, if you might remember him, Thomas, Yushin, my friend who I also knew from Japanese, he was like he's the kind of student, he's very, very good, very studious. He would get like A+ in everything. He failed that paper. It was so poorly taught that he failed that paper. I passed with a C with only 20% of the total grade. Yeah. Like at 20%, it's like that should be like a hard fail. But it was so, the grades was so shifted because of how poorly it was taught that 20 was apparently worth a C, not a C-, a C. Yeah, I was quite shook to hear that he had failed that paper, because he must have just like basically not done any of the stuff. Or he gets straight A's in everything. I don't get straight A's in every single subject. I'm a B student. I'm what they call merit level. In NCA, in the system that we use here in New Zealand. Lies. I appreciate it. I appreciate the ego boost. A student, A+ all the way. Twitter, Reddit, and I've been pronouncing that wrong this whole time. Oh. We had Mano for first half and Radu the second. Radu just did C# and some basics. This is how basic. Right, yeah. Yes, yeah. Right, it was Radu. So functional everything and lambdas. Yeah. Yeah, we had that other guy. I can't remember what his name was. We had like some other lecturer, and then also Radu at the very end. And because of the timing and stuff, the way it's like, Radu's section was totally fine. The other lecturer guy who did the first half, I learned fucking nothing from him. Rorius is good at everything. Of course he is. It's just not lying. I'm good at lying too. I pronounce "milady" as "milady."
I've been pronouncing meringue as meringue, and I can't believe that's another word I've mispronounced horribly. Is there anything worse than learning that you've been pronouncing a word wrong your whole life? Well, the answer to that is obviously yes. There are worse things, like shingles and James Corden. But it does still suck. So, let's look at some. Used to pronounce calculator like cockulator all the way up till the middle of high school. Found out today I've been pronouncing the word Haitian wrong my whole life. I say it like Haitian. I pronounced malady as milady. Guys, my whole life I've been pronouncing tarot cards like carrot FML. I used to pronounce pounds as illables. When I used to watch wrestling as a kid, I used to say, oh geez, he weighs 280 illables. I've been reading into saying hyperbole as hyperbole for fucking years. Gynecologist. I thought it was pronounced with a J sound, like how the G in vagina is pronounced. Gynecologist. Just found out my older brother's been pronouncing Pisces as piss kiss his whole life. Pronounced crep as creepy. All my life, I've been pronouncing melancholy, melancholy. I remember reading aloud in 10th grade English class. I don't remember what book we were reading, but I came across Chihuahua. I, of course, had heard that word before, but had never seen it spelled out. So I was like, a chi-hui-hui. I've been pronouncing nonchalant as nonchalant for over half my life since my birth. This is small dick energy. I've been calling laptops laptops my whole life until 2 days ago. I've been pronouncing hospice like perfume for prostitutes all along, and no one has corrected me. Perfume for hose spice. Touche. I used to pronounce it touchy. I had to teach someone what touche meant the other day. He said it in response to someone saying hi to him. I've been pronouncing ratio like patio this whole time.
Ratio?
Unique. Up until recently, I've been pronouncing lingerie as lingerie. Bequeathed. I've always said it as bequeathed. Today I learned the correct pronunciation of persimmon. I've been pronouncing it like the name of a fucking Digimon. Fucking Bowser. As in the Mario character. My parents are Hispanic as fuck and would always pronounce it browser. And so that's what I called it my whole life. Until I said it in
Browser.
school and was laughed at for it. Not me thinking the word vicariously was bi-curiously when I was younger, so I would literally look people in the face and say, OMG, I'm living bi-curiously through you. Satisfy. I pronounced and spelled it as statisfy until ago. I found out that we is pronounced like we. I've been pronouncing it like ooey my entire life.
Yeah.
Skull emoji! A friend of mine used to say epitome for epitome. I had to correct her. She was an English
Epitome, yeah.
teacher. I've been pronouncing Joaquin Phoenix like Jacqueline Phonics since...
I was gonna say, wait, I had omnipotent is one of those ones. Omnipotent is one of those ones for me. When I was like, I learned it fairly early on, but like when I first came across the word omnipotent, I always pronounced it omnipotent.
2002. Wow. For an embarrassing amount of time, I've been pronouncing Kanye West's name as Kanye. Didn't know Banal rhymed with canal. I've been pronouncing it like anal with a B for years.
Banal,
I'm
yeah.
over 50 and still have trouble with...
There's a skit comedy piece that talks about that, talking about people saying that in this, it's like the joke is in this region of somewhere in Canada, people don't pronounce banal right, and then they're just like interviewing people. What did you think of the movie? And then the person's like, "Oh, it was totally banal." The movie was so banal.
Khaki. Just pretend you're from Boston and think of it as khakis. My entire life, I've been pronouncing cement as semen tea, and no one corrected me
Semen
till
tea.
now. Bukkake. I used to pronounce is bookake until a night of Cards Against Humanity brought my mispronunciation to light. Well, this is embarrassing. I've been pronouncing pirates like Pilates for the last 30 years. Pirates. Grotesque. It came up one time watching a movie when I was younger, and I asked my friends, "Oh, what the hell is groat-squee imagery?" You all pronounce skate like skate. I've been pronouncing it like skate 8 the whole time. Parmesan cheese is
Skate
Parmesan
8.
cheese. Guys, the cheese
Parmesan.
isn't Monterey Jack, it's Monterey Jack. I've been pronouncing it like it's related to money my whole life. Lactose and tolerant. I had no idea what the hell it had to do with dairy until I was corrected. Is it? Just remember at the time my little brother asked my dad what reptile dysfunction was. I thought the saying making ends meet was making hens meet for years. Earlobes. I called them earlobes for a very long time. Until like a minute ago, I thought cornflakes was spelled cornflex because that's how I've been pronouncing it my whole life. I always wondered why people complained about the controversy of euthanasia. You mean to tell me the phrase was dog eat dog world and not doggy dog world? I hate myself. I used to get mixed up with klutz and sluts when I was a kid. One time my mum dropped something and I called her a slut. A pony.
I wonder how many of these are actually real and how many are just like good for like sorry, how many of these are just like tweets people thought of and were like, this will be a funny tweet. I'm really curious about that.
This delivery driver told me I'd been pronouncing my own surname wrong, and I honestly feel like my whole life has been a lie. I've always called them Brussels sprouts instead of Brussels sprouts. Well, no, sorry, that one doesn't work. I'm 32 years old, I've eaten these every Christmas. They are Brussels sprouts. They're not Brussels sprouts, are they? Oh, fuck.
Whoa. Okay, I've learned something. I've always referred to them as Brussels sprouts, not Brussels sprouts. I feel like that's an easy one to make because of the fact of the double S ending in S, starting in S thing. Brussels sprouts. Damn, I'm gonna look at what it's written like in the supermarkets and stuff like that, because I'm pretty sure in the supermarkets it's written as Brussels sprouts. Oof. Oh, we got about 15 minutes. I haven't seen my epic Osu gameplay. Watch only 3 minutes. Wait. I was gonna say, how far are we? Oh, we're not that far from it. We'll probably make it, depending on how long these are. Yeah, Deploy by Jack Stormer. But the whole thing is Jack dancing the extended version for us. Down to like 30 seconds. Oh, awesome. At the wedding that I was at yesterday, very few of the members were very interested in dancing. And so, I'm not much of a dancer. In fact, I'm a pretty terrible dancer. I was one of the only people who was like just willing to dance along to some of the music. Don't get the stream VOD muted. Well, Jack Stormer doesn't copyright claim their music, so I'm able to listen to Jack Stormer. Yeah. There are a few artists like the Fat Rat, Jack Stormer, C418. They're copyright positive, so I can actually. I remember from years ago. You love Dark Souls, right? Or at least the lore. Yeah, I do. God, no, thank you, getting. I really want Elden Ring. I really want it so bad. I just haven't got it yet. I probably will get it when with my next paycheck. I'll probably buy Elden Ring. because Jack Stormer doesn't copyright his music. I know this for a fact. I've had it tested and verified. Well, he still owns copyright of his music, but he's not aggressive with it on YouTube. And there's other artists like the Fat Rat, has like literally, what Fat Rat has done is he puts all his music on YouTube into their copyright system so that no one can steal his music. No one can like try and claim his music as their own, because that apparently happened. Because all the same stuff is, but that's because adult swim. Yeah. What was I saying? Right, yeah, Fat Rat. Apparently some people tried to steal Fat Rat's music on YouTube, like they claimed videos with his stuff in it. So he went through the process of like adding all his music to YouTube's like content ID system so that other people couldn't claim his music, and therefore everyone was free to use it without fear of someone claiming it. Yeah, I hate it when people get their songs involved with like companies that are particularly litigious. Like some artists will sign up with CD Baby, for instance. CD Baby are awful for that kind of thing. Yeah, so even if you want your stuff to not be like copyright claimed on YouTube, CD Baby doesn't give a shit. They claim everything. My name of the video is next. Next, decode how you're feeling. Nice. Yeah. Al dente.
Love Valley, hi. Exactly. Oh, Love Valley, love. What you think? Life made you bitter. I can make you 10. Life made bitter. Can make you 10. Get it done. Don't think that just because we're licking is love. Cherry on the complication. I don't think I'll ever get you.
Yeah. I do like the little shorts. Your OC video, yeah, I mean, I would hope so, that it has no audio. Wait, what time we have? Okay, we have, how long is this video? I was gonna say, we could do, because I know these are both posted by Jonas, so I'll watch this one first, seeing as Jonas wants me to see this first. and I'll give you a sneaky like. I saw it was on your channel. 1 month's time. Oh, right. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm watching it first. so there. I was curious how you must have, yeah, you've recorded this just with no audio. That's fair. What song was it supposed to be, by the way? I've played a bit of Osu back in the day. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell anyway, whether you're doing good or not. Lucid Dreams Juice World. Okay, I don't know what that is. Right, how picky are you with name conventions? As in Miss 40 X, like X's? Oh, okay. Good Son just removed it because copyright. Right, yeah. When you say name conventions, what do you mean, Zach? What do you specifically mean? File naming. Oh, okay. So I tend to... It depends on the project. Depends on what I'm working on, I suppose, is what I should say. But, I am pretty particular with my file naming. I'm pretty particular, generally speaking. It depends, yeah, once again, depends on what I'm working on. Some of the stuff I do for YouTube, I'm like, not, I don't worry as much in terms of, when I say for YouTube, stuff like, the screens like that say, be right back and stuff like that. That's just called brb.png. Because that's like, it's in a system that's not like super, like, dense with, content. But when it comes to like my video titles, they're always called like the Ratchet and Clank currently, the Ratchet and Clank I'm currently playing, like every file is like R ampersand C1 capital E P and then whatever episode number it is, usually 01 or 02 or 11 if it's like episode 11. Nothing, I never expect most of those things to be more than, 2 digits long in terms of their length. But in terms of series that I expect to be longer, for instance, like vlogs, I suppose, like I could potentially make hundreds of vlogs over the course of my YouTube stuff. So it's like vlog, EP, and then like 001 or 015, whatever. So yeah, that's what I'm very particular. Very particular with file names for stuff like like video names and stuff like that. But when it comes to stuff that's like just one-offs and little non-dense things, I'm way less concerned. We're programming functions are Pascal case, fields are camel case, properties are Pascal case, usually uppercase snake case for constants. Ah, yeah. Yeah. I pretty rarely use like true constants. Yeah. I very rarely use like true constants, so I very rarely use the uppercase snake case thing. But yeah, I think I have a very similar name, like convention for my programming stuff like that. Private variable start with an underscore. I don't use that. I don't use the underscore thing for like private randomly. In C# I tend to do, oh sorry, read only. But for like private read only in C# I tend to do underscore some variable. Right. I don't worry about that usually. I usually just use for any kind of variable camel case for functions and things like that. It's always Pascal case. And then for Yeah, for file types that I'm gonna use in a project, Zach, that's what I used to do as well. Have like what I used to try and do is everything lowercase, all underscores for instead of spaces. Mainly because the source engine doesn't like spaces. So that's what I used to do back when I was working on Portal Unity. I would try and make everything all spaces lowercase. I would just use lowercase everything. For simplicity's sake, I wouldn't put capitals. The code autocorrect Visual Studio does that automatically. Yes, yeah. So it's best to follow that convention. Yeah, fair enough. Source engine also doesn't like double quotes. Yeah. So like for file stuff and source, I would always use underscore. Yeah, you always use underscores instead of spaces, or you just don't use spaces. But I prefer having underscores instead of spaces, and I just used lowercase just because that way, if I just always had lowercase for everything, then I knew for a fact. Oh, whoops! I knew for a fact that I knew how I kept my naming convention consistent, so I just always use lowercase. I use Pascal case for folders, but some engines would prefer a snake case. Right. Yep. I don't know. I don't know if I like that one. The underscore at the start and then capitals with underscores. I don't know if I like that. Anyway. Add. I became the world's richest man for 7 seconds.
Company with 10 billion shares.
What about unlimited money limited?
And then sold one of those shares for £50.
Hey, sir, would you like an investment opportunity?
That would legally value my company.
It's come through. The certificate, everything.
At £500 billion.
Technically, would that company be worth £500 billion?
Yeah, there's an argument that can be made.
Thus making me the richest man in the world. Absolutely decimating my nearest rival, Elon Musk. Although, there was a problem.
Could be accused of fraudulent activity. That does not sound good. Right. Luckily in the UK it's quite easy to set up a company. There's something called Company's House, and you essentially just do a big old form. I like forms because I know all the answers to the questions mainly. Right. What is your full name? Max Fosh. I know that one. The fun one. Company name. I can see here that it has to end with limited. What about unlimited money limited? I really like that. Welcome to the new company. Unlimited money limited. What will the company be doing?
Exactly, Nathan. To avoid that, I would just
we're making money, so
make sure that they never have spaces in them.
Oh, okay, here we go. Could do this. Manufacture of macaroni noodles, couscous, and similar farinaceous products. I don't know what
Sorry, what was that?
It's supposed to be your shirt that fits me quite well.
Oh, right, yeah.
Farinaceous means, but that's what the company does.
Now that I was a big block of parmesan in the pasta world, it was time to decide how many shares I was going to have.
How many shares can you issue in a company?
Yes.
Is there a limit?
I use special characters to push stuff to the top.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I definitely
5, 6,
do that.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Nope. Broken it. Enter a valid number of shares. It's like, come on, Max, don't be silly. 100 billion? No, that didn't work either. Right, okay, 10 billion. Let's try that. Ha! Okay, right. So, 10 billion worked. Application submitted. It said to take 2 working days. Okay, I've got to wait 2 working days.
That wasn't exactly true, though.
The speed, I tell you. I've literally just gone downstairs to get a coffee, and it's come through. The certificate, everything. Unlimited money limited is now officially a company.
That's hilarious.
I still think they're selling a share for £50. Right. I think better time to
subbed to me, yes. You're not?
I've been in here before. This is where
I'm not subbed.
magic happens. I've got so
didn't
many
check.
packs of cards under that duvet. That shirt's crazy.
I'm reading that underscores are used to prevent crashes since some software aren't optimized. Yeah. Well, just in some so in some systems, in some systems, putting a space in something will mean that it will make it consider that to be the end of a section. So if you instead put it in quotes, it treats the stuff between quotes as one object. But like some systems are still not like fully designed for that either. So spaces just make things like dangerous sometimes for certain programmatic things. I know you saw this, but by the way, can you watch the Rust video at the for the end? I just want to see what you think of it. Okay. Oh yes, yeah. That's I've got it saved over here, so I'll do that. You are not. I'm not sub to you. All right.
Things weren't looking good for my upcoming stint as the world's richest man because I was fishing the one suit I own out of my laundry basket. Yes, my trousers are in my laundry basket. They might be a bit dirty, but that doesn't matter. We're here to sell shares, not smell good.
No, I've put on too much weight.
Looking the part, feeling confident and ready to take my place as the world's richest man.
This may or may not be my bedsheet.
I headed into the financial district.
Who's not buying stocks and shares from this table?
There's one place where I'm going to get people to invest in my company. It's bank. Hello, sir. Would you like an investment opportunity? Can I chat to you guys for 5 minutes about investing? Madam, any space for investment opportunities in that bag? Me, you, let's talk about investing. Hello, sir. Investment opportunity? No? Okay. It's safe to say the reception was slightly frosty, but I wasn't leaving my stool until I'd sold one share. Hiya, guys. So I had to start pitching to everyone. Hello. Nice to meet you. I've set up a company. I've issued 10 billion shares in that company. The FFU? I'm trying to sell one share for £50. Thus, valuing the company... You haven't heard the rest of the story, though, Frank. Thus, valuing the company at £500 billion.
One share, £50, and you've set up this new company.
Yes, I have. I don't even have 50 quid cash on me right now.
The cash flow just stand there. It's not financially a very safe investment.
It's risky.
It's risky from your side of things, but...
I'm really torn. I feel like
A bit like Natalie Imbruglia in the 1990s. Just think of this, sir. You sat around a dinner table, you say, have I told you the story when I invested in a company worth £500 billion?
Did you really? Did you really?
Despite my energetic pitch, the no's just kept on coming.
I'm gonna have to pass and give it.
Say no on this occasion?
Probably not.
Okay.
I don't have 50 quid.
I need some time to think about it.
Of course.
Not particularly, no.
I'm going to think about it and we'll come back.
But little did I know, hope was just around the corner. Hope, have we got money? Are you're willing to invest? You are. Please take a seat into the booth. Did you just get that out?
Yes, it's real.
Hey, quickly, why would you like to invest in this company?
Honestly, on a whim, I feel like it's meant to be. I feel like I'll get something from it eventually, if not just a good story.
Sure. Thank you. I'll take the money now. Thank you very much.
You could just be taking my money and I would have no idea.
I mean, I could. This would be a very elaborate way of scamming someone out of £50. Hope, all signed.
You need to shake on it?
That is one stock transfer form complete. Pleasure doing business with you.
Pleasure doing business with you.
I can't believe that worked. I did just sell a share for £50. So all I need to do now is to send all of this paperwork to a valuation advisor who will then be able to tell me whether the company is worth 500 billion or not. So now we wait. With Hope on board as an investor and the documents collated, it was time to send them off.
I kind of forgot that I was watching. I was streaming.
I'm sending
I was
off
just like
all the
enjoying the video, like
documents that I
holy
need,
shit.
To the valuation.
Oh yeah,
advisor.
I've been meaning to play that.
So it's got my
I will play
stock
it.
transfer form from Hope, all the requisite kind of like profit loss of which there's zero. Sending it off to them today.
Josie, yeah, I can spare a few minutes because I don't have a whole lot of time after the stream, but I can spare a few minutes.
Unlimited, money limited. These documents were to decide my fate. I'd done all sorts to get them, rummaging in my dirty laundry and flirting with the financiers of London. These were the documents that would decide if I was the richest man in the world. Success. And I got my answer 2 weeks later. Big day. Big day. That's why I'm wearing a shirt. We're seeing this together. In here will be telling me how much I'm worth as an individual. So, without further ado, oh, okay. Dear Mr. Max Fosh, there are numerous methods of valuation including, but not limited to, times revenue method, earnings multiplier, blah, blah, things I don't understand. Given the range of information provided to us, the market cap of unlimited money has been assessed as
£500 billion.
I had done it. I was the richest man in the world. But...
Oh.
Because the company had no revenue and therefore nothing to back up this valuation, I was technically being accused of fraud?
Due to lack of revenue activity, there is a highly likelihood that UML being accused of fraudulent activity. It is for this reason we highly recommend Unlimited Money Limited is dissolved as a matter of urgency. Okay. I need to shut this down very quickly. How do you close a company?
Well, you need the permission of the shareholders. Hope. And luckily, she had filled in some contact details, and so I sent off a very swift email, and 4 minutes later, we were on the phone.
I think I've made a terrible decision. Hi, Hope. How are you doing? We have been instructed that it's a matter of urgency that I dissolve the company. However, I need to get all shareholders to agree on the dissolving of the company. If I reimburse you your investment of £50, are you happy for the company to be dissolved?
I'm happy with that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much. Right, shareholder meter over. Thank you so much. Okay.
And so, with that and a few other forms, the company was dissolved.
Your application to strike off the company has been accepted. Okay, relax.
I love how it's all like it's all
no longer active.
Something you can do. You can technically just go and do this.
7 minutes. It could be argued that I was the richest man in the world for 7 minutes, but I have closed the company. It's done. I haven't done anything wrong. I'm just making silly videos. But I was very rich. I might frame this though. The certificate.
Oh, brilliant. I do enjoy Max Fosh's stuff. So good, so good. All right. So we'll count. We'll keep these for next time. We'll count this as the last one watched. And we'll quickly watch this Rust introduction and look at that Polish bull squid thing. That,
Rust,
was
a
said to be
memory-safe
saved.
compiled programming language that delivers high-level simplicity with low-level performance. It's a popular choice for building systems where performance is absolutely critical, like game engines, databases, or operating systems, and is an excellent choice when targeting WebAssembly. It started as a side project of Great on Hoare in 2007, who named it after the Rust fungus. It was sponsored by Mozilla in 2009, and has been ranked the most loved programming language every year since 2016, with its fans being known as Rustaceans. Traditionally, high-level languages provide a garbage collector to nerf your control over memory management, while lower-level languages provide functions like free and allocate to shoot yourself in the foot. Rust takes a different approach. It has no garbage collector, but achieves memory safety with a concept known as ownership and borrowing. By default, every variable in Rust is immutable. This allows values to be used in the stack memory, which has minimal performance overhead. However, mutable values or objects with an unknown size at compile time are stored in the heap memory. Every value in a Rust program is assigned to a single variable known as its owner. When that variable goes out of scope, the memory allocated to it is dropped automatically. In some cases, though, you may want to pass a reference to a different part of the program. Borrowing allows you to access a reference in memory without taking ownership of it. There are a ton of rules to go along with the system that the Rust borrow checker will validate at compile time. These rules keep your code safe while providing absolute control over performance. Rust also has a package manager called Cargo, where each individual package is a crate. To get started, install Rust, then run cargo new from the command line. In the main.rs file, you'll find a main function, which is where the program will start executing. Declare a variable with let, followed by its name and type. The value can't be changed or reassigned by default, so add mut to make it mutable. The name of the variable is the owner. A reference to its location in memory can be borrowed by other parts of the program by prefixing it with an ampersand. Then use a macro like println to log the value to the standard output. Rust also comes with a standard library that contains modules to handle I/O, the file system, concurrency, among many other things. Now compile your code to an executable with the Rust compiler. You just built a memory-safe executable that can handle the most performance-intensive system requirements. This has been Rust in 100 seconds. Hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more short videos like this, and leave a comment if you want to see a full Rust tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Yeah, I'll have to check out Rust for myself, like properly. Yeah, just to see what I think of it. Whereas if you had a company, what would it be named? Rorius Ware, maybe. Apparently Rust is generally faster than C++. Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Rorius Ware is not a bad one. Depends on what I was doing. Like, I've had my like developer name thing, First Front Studios, for a long time. But if it was like a company, yeah, it depends on what the company's doing. Rorius Ware is a good one. Rorius Inc. Rorius Limited. Have you played on the new Minecraft server yet? I have played for all of 5 seconds. I played because the thing is, like, I tested out the mod pack first in single player, and I played a bunch of that, just on my own in my own time, just to make sure that that it was like fairly, fairly stable. But I played that. Yeah, I played that a bunch of times. Chanced out about 100 times. Oh. Um, and I confirmed that it was fairly stable and it seemed good. But then when the server actually was set up, I logged in just so that I knew I was able to get in, and then I logged immediately back out again. So I created a new server because I thought Valhelsia just didn't have enough of a drawer for me. In my opinion, I just didn't think Valhelsia had enough draw to warrant keeping that server going. And as in keeping that server going, just from my perspective. I could foresee how plenty of people might still want to play on that, so I kept it up. But it's not a new server. The system we have allows you to have 2 servers running. So we haven't paid any more. All that's happened now is that instead of 1 server with 12 gigs of RAM, there are now 2 servers with 6 each. And that's the maximum you can do. Ragnamod is cool for me, but it wouldn't work for a server where people aren't cooperating. Yeah, see, that's why we didn't go with Ragnamod initially. That might be something I play on my own time, but or even in like a series maybe. But I thought we'd go with we went with the roguelike and dungeon, roguelike adventures and dungeon, or something like that. Adventures and dungeons. Because that way it was like there's lots of different things you can go for. There's lots of different angles in terms of like sort of like quest stuff and exploration, but it's not limited to like a specific thing. A series, yeah. I have thought about returning and doing like a series of something for the channel, but I haven't got around to doing that yet. Can you get another series? I haven't done any series with anyone for a while. I don't know. It's okay, Curtis. It's okay. The stream will still be available if you want to watch it back. As went to the Betweenlands. What happened?
I found a diamond pickaxe mending.
Ah, I see. Just went to the Betweenlands and Rad. You should stream your first adventure in there because it's pretty spooky. I think I might have already done that when I was testing. Because I went to another world that I wanted to try out that I probably could do in the stream as well. But I was just swimming around in the water at one point, and I saw this weird thing, this weird podium thing, and I was like, "What is that?" Swam into it, and it portaled me to another reality again, another dimension. And it was super weird and creepy, and I was like, what is happening?" And I never actually got back to my... I died in that other world, and I never got back to my corpse. You probably heard Mark's voice. Was the next Chaotic Phone stream? Next weekend. Yep. I was gonna do it this weekend, but then because of the wedding I had to go to yesterday, I decided to just do one stream. Yes, I believe it was, Maddie. I believe it was. It didn't have the top on it. It was just the portal blocks inside the stone walls. But yeah, Monopoly Plus. We might play Monopoly Plus at some point, but the problem is it just takes ages. Yeah. Marcius. Someone just posted Marcius in the stream chat. Because, you know, Rorius, Marcius. Okay, I'll come for that. That's it, my timer. Okay, cool. Yeah, so next weekend we'll do like a group stream thing, and we'll play some more Minecraft, but we'll also do the Garlic Phone and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, there's about 3 big dimensions in red. I've got portals to all of them, but not played them yet. Right, yeah. My ether spawn is literally on top of a cloud. Oh, nice, nice. Oh, I really gotta check that dimension out. Because I haven't done that yet. We should all play chess. I'm terrible at chess. That would be an embarrassing stream for me. I think Rory and Mark would make Jonas. I think Rory and Mark would make a good couple. Why, thank you. Ether Dev is a guy who made the wooden. Yes, I recall that. I remember hearing that, or someone told me that. Probably you told me that. He's cool, and that's good to hear. That's good to hear. But whatever the case, yeah, I gotta get going. Let's watch Polish Bull Squid to end off the stream. Oh. This music's probably... I was gonna say, it's probably copyright claimed. I should probably not listen to the music. No. Put it really, really quiet so it can't be detected. It's just a bull squid dancing in different areas of Half-Life 1. Refresh. Scream. Well, I was gonna say... we already said that something was. We already said this is gonna be the last one. We said this is gonna be the last one. Unless it's a picture. Wait. If it's a picture, I'll check. I'll look at it. I'll look at it if it's a picture. Such a kidding. The 5th time, and another one. Only when it's in the context of being able to just make it for the same cost that we already have. We probably will do that again at some point. At some point, we'll be like, we're done with this one. Let's do another mod pack. I did see a very similar thing in the Reddit. Sorry, not the Reddit. The Discord not too long ago. And another one. Yeah, I gotta do something. I gotta get to work. Not literal work. Like, not... I work on Wednesdays. But, I have a thing I have to do right after the stream, so I gotta get going. But I'm gonna speak with Josie just real quick. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'll see you in the next stream, or I'll see you in videos. There will be videos this week. I recommend one of the better Minecraft packs. But to be honest, if we actually try work together, Ragnamod or Sky Factory could work. Yeah, if we have a small group that we like, if I do a series, I'll probably do a series more for that kind of thing. Like where it's just like at most like 4 or 5 people, because when you have a full server open with lots of people on it, it's just too chaotic. But yeah, anyway, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I look forward to the next reaction stream, but until then, I'll see you in the next video / stream. All right, see you guys. Have a good night or day or week or weekend. 5 people doing Sky Factory 4 actually sounds really good. Yeah. I think that would be a rad number. Yep. All right. Bye.